All right, let me fix this. All right, here we go. I'm going to probably start over. Let me see. Wait, we might be back now. Yep, live stream network is refreshing. Please stand by. That's what the message says. No need to call for support. Refreshing in 5 seconds. Okay, let's see. Oh, we might be back. Are we back, y'all? Can you guys hear us? Okay, cool. Yeah. It seems like, you know what? I found out that Livestream decides that it's going to do their maintenance and they're changing their stuff during my show hours.
Well, they need to do it after midnight when everybody's already in bed or drunk.
I know. Yep. It's crazy. You know, one of the guys that told me that what they do is they're using VPS systems and they throttle they throttle their available memory and their available CPUs and everything, and sometimes that causes the system to stall just for a second and then reconnect. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or not, but anyways. So I apologize, guys, for that. Wasn't anything here. Chris, me and you kept talking the whole time. It's something going on with Livestream like it has in the past.
All right.
So anyways, we were talking about how mod security and a couple other programs that are pretty popular on Linux, Apache systems. And I was telling you how every 7 seconds now there's an IP address getting blocked by my firewall software on average on my systems, about every 7 seconds. And a year ago it was every 11 seconds, and I have not changed a single setting. Nothing's changed, you know. So it's getting worse, you know. It's just so I can only imagine how you got frustrated with the workload and trying to keep all this stuff running and everything. Because this,
it's ridiculous. One person, I was like, forget this, and I went into computer programming and actually started working for other companies, and then from then on, that's all I've been doing for the past 10, 12 years is working for other companies.
Nice, but as a subcontractor, right?
Yeah, a lot of times I work as a contractor. There has been a few times when I worked as a full-time employee, and I'm like, you know what? And the bad thing is about being a software engineer is you get bored, and when you get bored, you leave and go find something else that's challenging.
Right.
So, but right now I've got a 1-year contract that I'm going to be doing some programming for a government agency here in the D.C. area, which would be pretty nice.
Yeah, cool. There's somebody asking about... somebody asking about a tech question. So this isn't a tech show. We're really... I'm interested in Chris's background because it kind of interests me. Didn't mean to bore you guys with the Linux stuff, but it is pretty cool to know that Thinkorswim runs on Linux with no problem.
Yeah, it's Java. It's written on Java, so it's cross-platform.
Would you say it's been stable?
Actually, I think it is probably more stable than the Windows side, because I know sometimes people get things that lock up and the charts just freeze up.
Yeah.
And when I'm running on Linux, it usually does not do that. However, only with the ES, that when it gets like very high traffic throughout the whole internet, does it sometimes lag.
Right. Okay.
Now, I was running scans because I have a custom scan that I run to look for my setups, and it was running really, really slow. And Thinkorswim knows me probably personally by now because I've complained so many times. But they've actually they have different networks that they can set people on.
Right.
So, and right now it seems like I'm on a pretty good side for them.
Okay.
And I don't have any problems. So with Linux, I don't have any problems. And the reason I like using it is because of stability and also security. If I'm if I'm trading with live money, I don't want other people hacking into my system, and I don't trust Windows for that side, to be honest with you. And plus, if I'm in the middle of a trade, I don't want the system to crash. Now, I do have a backup system. It's a little netbook that I run Windows on. I always have that running just in case my system does crash. Now, and also I do a lot of scalping and day trading throughout the day. And because, I mean, I am a full-time software engineer, not a full-time trader.
I understand, yeah.
But every now and then in the mornings, I will scalp, and I do that on the system. And if it does crash, then I have my other Windows little netbook set up to, take over.
Right.
But I've never had any problems.
How does the? I'm assuming you're using the Flash chat room on that system too, or are you using the? Okay. How does Flash run? And do you have problems with the Flash crashing on you? The chat room, does it freeze and stall on you at all, or is it?
No.
Never had a problem with that.
No, I do have a problem when I first log in. Like when I try to log in, and it just seems like it doesn't log in, and it's just like blank. I have to close out the window and try it again. Then it goes right back in.
I don't know what that's about.
No, that's just when I first try it.
Yeah, but once you get logged into the chat room, and you don't use the Java one, you use the Flash one, right?
I use the Flash one, and half the time I'm not in the chat room, and I apologize for that. Just because throughout the day I'm working.
I know.
Doing work, and it's like I just close it down because it's a distraction. To be honest,
don't blame you. I don't blame you. Tell me about it. It's a distraction, all right. Now, by the way, I need to apologize to everybody that's listening that I have been basically, it does to me too, Jeff Rowe. The Flash chat room, it'll stall. If you get a lot of private messages too, what will happen is they'll just start to act weird and it won't scroll anymore. It happens, and the slower the system, the worse it is. On my new rig that I have now, I can usually get 3 or 4 hours out of it, and it'll do it. It's not a server issue. It's just a memory resource issue on the Flash side, and it's been documented by Adobe. It's in their bug system, and it's been in there for 2 years, and they just won't fix it. I
use a 64-bit system with 64-bit Ubuntu Linux, and it works great.
Yeah, but I can get the Flash chat room to crash on everything, on everything except for Linux. It's stable on Macs too. I have never had anybody on a Mac tell me it's stalled on them or crashed or whatever.
It's written on Unix, and the garbage collection and the memory leakage is probably not as bad.
I don't know what fly on the wall is taking. He's got my picture at the target range. I don't know. Did you see my video where we shot up the TVs?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, I gotta. I'll send you a link.
I was there that day. I was working and I was listening to you guys. Half the time I'm listening, I can hear you,
right?
But I've just got another screen and I'm sitting there trying to work. Or sometimes when I really have to sit down and write some code and really think, I just shut everything down.
All right, so you were telling me you're working with a prop firm, or you used to work for like a hedge fund or something, or what's the deal with that?
Well, actually, I mean, I'm a full-time software engineer.
Right.
Full-time
meaning 40 hours or more.
40 hours or more a week. And also I trade during the day because I'm constantly on the computer. So I've got a couple monitors. So, right. I've always got my Thinkorswim platform up and running.
Right.
And I've customized it enough so where when things set up, a window will pop open and certain bells will ring, whether it's a telephone or whatever, and it'll let me know, hey, you might have 10 stocks or 5 stocks on your watch list that you're looking to day trade.
Right.
And it'll alert me, and then I can just go in, jump in, get into it, set my stops, and be done with it and move on.
Right. You want to talk about your favorite way of trading and show us, get into what you're having the best success at and what kind of indicators you use and all that stuff.
Yeah. When I first started out, I was starting to trade years ago, and then I've really here for the past, I would say, few years, I've really gotten heavily into it. and I started getting. I got hooked up with John when I was in Panama City Beach, Florida, working for a company, and that was it was really great because, I started out working with, I think it was Scottrade, and then I got into penny stocks, and then I got into all kinds of other crap, and I ended up going on European vacation. I was like, oh, I've already made a little bit of money, so, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'll just hold these, and I went over to Europe for about a week, and then I came back and I was just flat broke, and I was like, man, I blew up my account and everything, and then I got into penny stocks, and then I really blew up my account, and I lost everything, and then I was like, oh man, this really sucks. So I was like, all right, the market kicked my butt, but I'm going to get back. Yeah. So I just ate ramen noodles and sucked it up and saved my money and got back into the market, and then I got hooked up with John. I think it was close to 2 years now. And from then on, it's like I've been successful.
So successful is the definition of successful, more winning trades than losing trades.
More getting away from Scottrade. I went with MB trading.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Lowered my commissions, got back into swing trading, started learning, and that's when my main indicator is the stochastics that I learned all from John, and then I started learning how to use the moving averages, the 20, 50, and 200 moving average, and I was swing trading with him down in Florida. I was making money. I slowly built my account, and that's what I've learned from him is don't let greed get in your way, and that's what cost me in the beginning was greed. Yeah. And I just take profits when I got them. Yep. And then I just go to a break-even trades where I can't lose, and then I might leave a little bit on the table just to satisfy my greed. Then I was like, okay, it didn't work out, but all my profits. The one thing I've learned from John is to take your profits when you get them. Yeah. Because the market can take it right back from you as quickly as it gave.
Yeah, it sure will. Yep. I think that's one of the biggest lessons everybody has to learn. And expecting too much out of every trade, that's exactly what it'll burn you. And greed is what causes you to do that.
So if I can get 10 trades and win, I only need to be 50% right.
Yeah, as long as you stop out quick and you let your runners run. Yeah. So you want to
go ahead?
Somebody keeps calling you Christ. Do you go by that word? Do you go by that name? Okay. No. Congrats, Christ. What's your biggest loser, Christ? And how long did it take you, Christ? I don't get it. His name is Chris.
Yeah, it might be Christopher, and it might be Christopher somewhere, and it only says the CHRIST.
No. Somebody said who's talking, and we said Chris Hall, and everybody Christ, so they're talking to God. Okay, that's fine. Oh Christ. Yeah.
Well, I see. My biggest loser. What was my biggest loser? I think it was a penny stock that I got into that was in Pennsylvania. That I thought I was going to be rich on, and I lost all my money. And I tried to sell it, and I couldn't get rid of it. That was my biggest losing trade. Was a penny stock.
Sunshine says, "What should we call you then?" His name is Chris, not Christ. I thought we maybe he does a language barrier here. I don't know. Yeah, it's Chris. CHRIS. Chris, not Christ.
And also, last year my biggest losing trade was Radio Shack.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I got my butt clobbered on that one. It was a weird thing, and for some reason, I got the earnings dates mixed up, or of course I blamed it on Thinkorswim.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I never hold in the earnings. That's one thing I've learned from John. Don't hold in the earnings. If you do, make sure you can lose absolutely everything you got when you do it. So I try to never, ever hold in the earnings, and I did. And I blamed it on the Thinkorswim platform by screwing up the dates because, heck, it was their fault, not mine.
Really, was it? Did date on your computer set wrong?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably got drunk that night and messed something up.
Been there, done that.
and I got clobbered, and I was like, all right, I'm out of this thing.
Okay.
But that was my biggest losing trade last year was Radio Shack. And to be honest with you, people have them. I'm already in the losing trade in an options trade called DEER, D-E. I should have got out of. I didn't. It happens. You got to go through them just to keep your head clear. Be like, why did you do that?
Yeah. You got to get bit by the alligator every once in a while just to remind you that you're sticking your hand in his mouth.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, DE is biting me on my option trade on that one.
I hear you. So why don't you show us a little bit about your indicators and how you like to set up your Thinkorswim and what indicators you like to go by?
Yeah, the main indicator that I use now is, and you can see the chart right here, right?
Yep. Stochastics at the bottom there? Or is that MACD?
Yeah.
What is that? Stochastics,
No, that is the full stochastics, and I set it the way John does, the full stochastics, 80, 20, 14, 3, and 3. That is my main indicator, is the full stochastics. That is the one thing that I absolutely look at all the time. Let me switch over here to the SPX. Now, and I always look at the full stochastics, and I've learned from John about using the full stochastics, so that is my main indicator that I use. When I first started trading with John, I started using the moving averages, 20, 50, and the 200 moving average. Then, has anybody heard of John Persons? In the chat room, just type yes or no. John Person.
You got to wait about 15 seconds, 10 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
I guess somebody wants to know if this is you. Chris says, instructor, fxgroundworks.com.
No, that's not me.
Okay.
No, I tried Forex trading and I suck at it and I got out.
That wasn't him then. Yeah, somebody person pivots.
Yes, John Persons. I read his book, Candlestick and Pivot Point Trading Triggers, and I started learning John Persons' style of trading, and I've kind of combined it with the knowledge I've learned from Day Trading Radio.
Okay.
And I've come up with my own style of trading. And that's why I use the full stochastics. I use trend lines, supports, and also I mainly am using, right now, these are the monthly pivots. And I use pivot points as another indicator for support and resistance. But I use them together with the full stochastics. So if you look right in here in April when we kind of sold off and we came right down to the monthly pivot and the stochastics was getting to the oversold, but yet we had a crossover. And then also I used candlesticks. We didn't make a lower low on 418 and then 419 we didn't make a lower low, and then we started moving back up. And I use options a lot now. Actually, all my trades now, as far as for my live account, is all options. And that's what I use is the full stochastics and these monthly pivots to trade off of as far as swing trading. And this line, this yellow and blue line, is a custom indicator that I wrote for Thinkorswim. And I call it the PPMA, the Pivot Point Moving Average System. Now, I've designed this from what I've learned from Day Trading Radio because John introduced me to pivots. And I was like, wow. And I watched all his videos on pivots. I'm like, wow, they seem to really work pretty good. So then I really got into them. And then I started looking around for books. And then that's where I came up with John Person. So, and John Person has his own custom indicator called the PPS system, which I traded off of for a while, and then I read his book like 3 or 4 times over and over, and then I started programming my own indicator. And that's what this moving average is here, is a pivot point moving average. And basically what it is that it takes the past 3 days, the high, low, and close, the pivot points, the high, low, and close divided by 3 for the 3 days back, and it gives you a number, and that would be your average pivot point. And that is a moving average that I had plotted on the line. Then what I've done was I took that, and then I've added it to the 5-period exponential moving average. So when the 3-period pivot point moving average crosses over the other pivot point moving average, that's where it turns blue. So I used to have 2 lines, and it was the 3-period pivot point moving average, then that same number combined with the 5-period exponential moving average. And I used to have 2 lines here. Then I've got a cousin in Alabama. He's like, well, hey, can you make one line change colors?
Yeah.
And it took me a while, and I was like, well, that's a good idea, so I'll go ahead and try that. And that's where I got this from.
So when it starts heading north, it turns blue. When it's going south or sideways, it's yellow. Yes,
and what it is that it calculates the pivot points of the candlesticks for the past 3 days.
Okay.
Now, I've started a website where you can go and download this, and there's a video on there that can show you how I use it.
Okay.
And the source code is out there. You can go to my website and download it and look at the source code.
And we don't have to stick our credit card in or nothing like that, right?
No, it's a completely free website.
We need to fix that then. No, just kidding.
Well, actually, I've started a website, and I've got educational videos up there of this moving average system that I wrote and how you worked. And also, I've got a handful of videos up there, just basic options trading videos that teach people the basics of options trading. And I think there's maybe 4 or 5 hours, and I'm continuously adding more.
Nice.
And it's a free website.
So you you're giving back like a lot of us do, and that's great, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
I mean, and if people want the website address, I mean, we can give it to them.
Let's just give it to them in the private in the chat room. That'll be a members benefit only. We won't mention the name on verbally. We won't mention it, but we can put it in the chat room if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, do you know it?
No.
Okay. Well, actually, I could email it to you, and then you can email it to all the members if you want.
Well, I was thinking just put it in the chat room.
Oh, you want me to do it now?
Yeah, if you want to do that. Yeah, do that. Put it in the chat room. So this is just one benefit of being a premium DayTradingRadio.com member. Can you move that off to the other page? I tell you what. Let me do this. Hang on a second.
Well,
there you go. Go for it.
Can you see that?
Go for it. Go ahead. You can do it now. If you guys are just joining us, I'm RPM, and we're doing a Trader Spotlight Live. And we've got Chris Hall on here. So what we're going to do is, you guys that are premium members right now, you just got Chris's message there with his link. And I'm going back to your Thinkorswim. There we go.
Alrighty.
And everybody's going to watch the show over later, and they're going to be like, "What was the link? What was the link? What was the link?"
Yeah, I have no problems. I'll give it out to them.
Cool.
And I do daily wrap-up videos. I show people on the screen what I'm trading, what I'm in, what's my profit and loss on the trade already.
Yeah.
So they can see my bad trade in deer, and they can see my good trade in rig.
You know, you've got a MySQL error on your page. Your hosting company is having a problem with MySQL.
Oh, are they?
Oh, look, max user connections.
Yeah, they maxed it out. I figured that would happen.
Yeah, there you go. We could pretty much crash everything. We've crashed brokerage firms, everything, but yet
I figured that would happen.
Yeah, Yeah, but I'm we post links to pages inside of Day Trading Radio in the chat room all the time with 500-600 people in there, right? And they all click at the same time, right? But somehow I'm expected to maintain a server that can handle all that. You know what I mean? But everybody else, like brokerage firms, news outfits, and all them, we crash all them, right? But so. Anyways, man, it's not easy, handling 700 people clicking at once, and evidently your host is not having a very good time handling 20 people at once. But how do you like Drupal or whatever?
Drupal, I built that site on Drupal. It was my first one that I've done, and it seems pretty good. I don't like it that much just because it's not actually writing code and everything, but it's good to get websites up and running fast.
Yeah, it's heavy on. We're redoing Day Trading Radio, and we're actually using WordPress and a bunch of custom modules for WordPress. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are using it. You're using Bluehost. Oh my God, man! I got a customer from them today.
Oh yeah, do you?
Yeah, I got a customer from them today. I kid you not, man.
Good.
Yeah. You need to run like hell. If you want some free hosting, let me know. All right. So tell me. Let's get back into the. Let's show us something. All right. So we're talking about this custom programmed indicator, and you're calling it the pivot moving average or whatever.
Yeah, pivot point moving average.
Okay, and it's blue and yellow, orange and blue, and it changes colors and. I see it kind of following the trend there. So tell me how you use that to actually trade.
Well, how I use this to trade, and let's use it on the SPX here. When it's yellow, that means it's just in a bearish trend because it's just taking the calculations from all the candlesticks and it's using the pivot points for this daily candle and the pivot point for this daily candle, well, actually 3 days back, for the past 3 days, and it's taking this pivot point moving average, and when the pivot point moving averages, actually the pivot points, when they start going down, that's when you get a bearish trend, and it'll turn yellow. And if I'm looking to swing trade, what I'm looking to do is I'm waiting for it to turn blue, but however, I'm not going to buy something when the stochastics is embedded or already overbought, and it was yellow and then it turns blue. I'm going to look at the pivot point, the monthly pivot point down here. I'm going to look at the stochastics to see, okay, is it down into the oversold area? And mainly what I'm looking for is a close above this pivot point moving average system. Once I get a close above, I can get in, start scaling in that day, and then the next day add to my position. And then I'm using the candlesticks to make sure I'm getting higher highs and higher lows. Once I start closing below, like right here, I'm looking to go ahead and get out of some of my position. Once I close below the pivot point moving average system, I need to be completely out because it's going into a bearish trend. And if we look at it on, trying to think of a pretty good trade that I did with Netflix. With Netflix, I did a bull vertical spread with Netflix. And then I noticed here that the trend line from here to here, it was kind of flat, but then I looked at the stochastics and we made a lower low in the stochastics. However, we didn't make a lower low as far as going past this trend line. And that's one of the things I've learned from John is understanding the patterns and the charts and the stochastics together and looking for divergence in those. So then I started looking, saying, okay, I'm going to have a trade here soon. We had a close above the pivot point moving average, which it turned blue. And as you can see here, it's calculating the next day because it's taking these three candles right here and already calculating the moving average for the next day, which is right here. So I put on a bull vertical here, at around 236, and then I took it off. Once we got up to here, I think it was about right here. Once we had a nice day up, I took half of it off, and once we closed below this candlestick right here, once we closed below it, I was already out of my bull vertical completely, and the stochastics I saw was starting to turn back over, and we had a nice sell-off that day. That's how I use this. And also I use it when you have a nice slope to the pivot point moving average. And that's mainly how I use this. It's very simple. All the programming and all the logic is already built into the moving average, basically. And all you need to do is just wait for it to close above the pivot point moving average and then get in and wait for it.
Cool.
And it also works on like a 15-minute. If you look on any time frame, it works. Here on the 15-minute time frame, as you can see, the stochastics was oversold, and we started crossing back over. We got to close above the pivot point moving average system. You jump in on the 15-minute candle, and you can ride it up.
Okay, so basically, all right. Wow. All right, so.
And this right here, I closed above the pivot point moving average system.
Yeah.
Stochastics is crossing back over. You jump in either at that close of the candle. You can go ahead and jump in case it goes to the moon, or you can jump in and then wait for a pullback to it. But if you're on this side of the blue line, then you're good to go. Why would you be trying to go long when you're down here, when you're below the line? You don't want to go long when you're down here. You want to. It's looking for a trend direction change is what it's basically doing with the pivot points of taking the past three candles, the high, low, and close divided by 3 of the past 3 candles, adding those up and dividing that by 3, and you get a moving average system.
Interesting. So when you see that thing change colors to blue and you want to go and you're looking to go long, when it goes blue, you wait for it to. I mean, how quick will that thing change colors? Does it wait for every 3? I mean, is it every 3 days or every three candles, or it doesn't?
Well, here's a 15-minute candle. So right here, it was yellow, and then right here, it was still yellow because it was below the pivot point moving average system.
Right. Okay.
When this starts changing blue, as you can see here in this candle, within that candle, it's yellow and blue. What it is, it's taking the average of the previous 3 candles and getting an average pivot point of the past 3 candles. I'm taking that number, then I take that number and I add it to a 5-period exponential moving average. Those are basically 2 moving averages, but once that 3-period pivot point moving average crosses over the 5 exponential moving average combined with the same number, that's where it turns blue.
How did you come up with this? Because it looks to me like it works.
It works.
I mean, it looks so. According to, like, if you look at that last candle at the end there, okay, according to that, you wouldn't want to go long yet.
What, right here?
Mm-hmm.
No, you wouldn't. Let's say.
But if you look at it,
now you want to go long,
right?
Because the stochastics is moving up, but also if you look at this right here is an intraday on Tuesday was an intraday pivots. You have your pivot point, you have your support pivot, and you have your resistance pivot. It's bouncing off the pivot point, so then you want to go long. So once it closes above it, you can go long here, and you're at 249. Once you're up here, like 250, I mean, it's just a way. When I do day trade with this, because I do trade with a prop firm, when I am scalping and day trading with this, when I get a move and I'm profit, I take half my position off and I move it to a break even. And that's basically, I'm looking at this saying, okay, am I right in my direction? But the stochastics is key here. That is the one thing that I mainly use before anything, is what I've learned from John as far as the stochastics. And then I look at the pivot point moving average system, and then I look at the actual intraday pivots when I'm day trading.
So you're trading with a prop firm. Basically, you get a percentage of the profits, and you use their money, right? Is
Yes.
basically how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, and this works on the ES as well. As you can see here, now not all the time does it work. As you can see here, we closed above it, but as you can see, it's still yellow.
Right.
But we closed above it, and it's blue, so the next time you would get in, and you would set your stop either at the previous low, or if the previous low is above the moving average, you want to go to the next one that's down here. And then I say you jump in around here, and then you try and ride it up. Once you start riding it up and you get to the pivot area right here, because you're bouncing off the support pivot, you get to the pivot area, take your profit, lock in your profit. Don't let a winner turn into a loser, and let's see how far it can go. But also you want to look at the slope of it. When you get a close above it and it's still yellow, but yet the yellow line is still kind of has a slope downward, you want to stay away from the trade. This is just stuff that I've learned from John Persons and reading his book. And I've read his book like 4 or 5 times. And then that's when I comprised and wrote my own pivot point moving average system from what I've learned from John Persons.
Let's see. Okay, so and somewhere on your site you've got the TOS script.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got it so where you can download it and unzip it, and there's a video of how to import it into Thinkorswim, and also there's a video that shows you how I use it. But also in my daily wrap-up videos, I go over this stuff. When I'm trading options, I go over all this stuff and let people know, hey, this is why I'm getting in, this is why I'm getting out, this is why I'm taking this bull vertical spread off, this is why I'm doing this calendar spread, things like that. And I just use the 3 things I use is the stochastics, the monthly pivots, the pivot point moving average, and also combined with the chart patterns from what I've learned from John as far as channels, falling wedges, things like that,
right.
Divergence in the candle and the chart patterns and the stochastics.
Nice. Okay.
So
all right. So I got a couple of questions here. Let me get through these before they get too much here. Have you ever used David Elliott studies also on Thinkorswim?
The Elliott wave?
I believe that's what he's talking about, probably.
Yes. I have looked into it, and to be honest with you, I just can't grasp it. If I sat down with someone that actually trades it and knows how to trade with it, I would probably use it.
Okay. And then Rainmaker is asking, does this indicator, the custom indicator we're talking about, does this thing work on the ES? I think you said it does.
Yeah, we're looking at the ES right here, and let's switch over to a 5-minute chart on the ES. And I mean, as you can see here, what time frame is this? This is around 3:30 on that day. We closed below the pivot point moving average system, and as you can see, it's turning yellow, and we had a sell-off. We closed above the pivot point moving average system here. It was still yellow, and you can get in. I just don't go in all heavy.
Be careful at that point, because yeah. So okay, so let me take your mouse real quick. So let's say let's see where. Right here, if we're looking at right there, okay, we're still blue right there, okay. So when if you're still in that trade and you see that thing turn yellow,
and you close below that
on that candle, okay, I see.
You need to get out.
Okay, and that would have been a good getting out. I mean, you would have done good if you got out there.
Yeah. If you would have got in, in the previous round 2 o'clock and you're taking profits, you can get out, and also you can go short there if you want to.
So like right here,
Mm-hmm.
that sucker's turned blue. It's time for you to think about it. Going in, it's blue.
Yeah,
if you were to do that,
the next 5-minute candle, you would start scaling in.
and if you did, you could have stayed long all the way up until here. When it turned yellow, it's time to think about dumping it.
Yeah, actually, I would have dumped it long before because it couldn't break through the intraday pivot. The pivot,
yeah, right.
I just would have gotten out.
Right.
And also the stochastics is overbought, so I'm like, okay, just get out.
But this factors in the stochastics. It factors in the pivots. It factors in several things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
Actually, I can show you the source code right now.
Okay.
Here, let me take a look here.
Oh, will this work in a downtrending market? That's another thing Rainmaker's asking.
Yes.
It should work no matter what. I mean, it doesn't care what direction the market's going. It should work.
And you can change the colors, the blue and yellow. You can change it to whatever you want. I've programmed it so where you can change it to whatever you want.
And you're calling it the PPNA? Is that what you're calling it? PPMA?
Yeah. PPMA, Pivot Point Moving Average. Mm-hmm. And the source code is out there. It's free for Thinkorswim. And I haven't written it for anything else like TradeStation or anything, just because I don't use TradeStation. Okay. But here's the source code: Pivot Point Moving Average System, and of course I've got the Market Swing Trader LLC, my company. But basically, what it does, it takes. Here's the highs. You have the HD1, which is the high of day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. And that's for the previous days. And you have the lows. Low day of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you have the close. The close, and then the close of day 2, 3, 4, and 5. From there, what you can get is your pivot points, because a pivot point is just basically taking the high, the low, and the close of that candle, whatever period it is, the high, low, and close. You get that number, you add them together, you divide by 3, that's your pivot point.
Okay.
And then right here, what I'm doing is I'm calculating the pivot points. I'm calculating the pivot point for day 1, and then day 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this is what has taken me a long time to really tweak it until I'm finished with it. I'm taking the PP3, the pivot point for the 3 periods, for the past 3 candles, the pivot points, which is basically taking the high, low, and close of day 1, 2, and 3 of the past 3 days, adding those together and divide by 3, and then that's my pivot point for the past 3 periods, whether it's 3 days or the past 3 or 5 minutes or 15 minutes.
Or 1 minute, whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And then what I've done was you have a moving average system, which is that. Then I've taken the exponential moving average, and then I've combined the past 3 period pivot point moving average system. I've combined it with the 5-day exponential moving average. That is your other moving average. So you got basically 2 moving averages. Your PP3 and then your 5 period. Once the PP3 crosses above the 5, you're in a bullish trend, because your pivot points are starting to shift, and there's a shift in momentum of the candles, and the momentum is starting to trend upward. And that's where you get the color, which is down here, which I'm defining the up and down of the colors. Mm-hmm. Now, if the pivot point, the 3 period pivot point moving average is greater than your exponential 5 period moving average, and it's basically this right here is taking that number, is taking the pivot point, the 3 period pivot point, and combining it with a 5 period exponential moving average. Once it's greater than that number, then it's an up, or else it's down.
that surprisingly looks a lot simpler than I thought it would look like.
Oh, it is so much.
What do you think about that language? I mean,
this language is called ThinkScript.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
ThinkScript is a great language. It's very basic language.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've tried to really get into, because I'm used to writing Java and PHP, Java, I'm used to writing Java. And when I started getting into writing custom scripts for Thinkorswim, I'm like, all right, I get to write Java. And then I realized they've got their own programming language. And I'm like, okay, it has its limitations.
Yeah.
I wish I could really dig in and get in this stuff, but, I just can't. But ThinkScript is good for Thinkorswim because you can write your own custom indicators.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's a question for you from Rainmaker. Wondering here's what I'm wondering, and this is probably what a lot of people are wondering. What caused you to pick the 3-day deal and the 5 is it the EMA that you're using? I mean, what caused you to combine these indicators together to come up with, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what was your thought process that said, okay, I need my own indicator that combines this, and this? I mean, how did that's where I think the brilliance is. It especially looks like it's working. Did you toy around with different things, or did you, I mean,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I actually used John Person's, these pivot points are John Person's pivots.
Right.
Okay. And John Person has his own indicator called the PPS system.
Right. Yep. You told us that.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I've read his book over and over, and then all of a sudden it came to me, and he says it right in his book, the logic that he has for his system. And I'm like, okay. And me as a computer programmer, I wanted to know, because he didn't give out the source code to his indicator. And me as a computer programmer, I would not let it go. I wanted to know what the secret sauce was.
Right.
And I still don't know what the secret sauce is.
Right, but you can enable his indicator on Thinkorswim, and then you can use that as part of your own indicator, basically, right? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, I took the logic that he has, which is saying taking the 3 period, because there was a video I was watching, and he was saying, okay, if you take the past 3 days and you get the pivot points for those past 3 days, you add them together, you divide it by 3, you get a 3-period pivot point moving average.
Right.
And then he started talking about other stuff, and then I was like, okay. And there's another guy, I think it's a Russian guy, Vervot or something like that. And then I looked at his indicator, and I looked at his source code, and I started dissecting it. Then I started looking at other stuff, and it's taken me months and months. But then that's when I came out, and I tried it without the 5-period EMA. I tried it with the simple moving average. Mm-hmm. I tried it with a 9-period EMA, a 10-period, a 20-period. It took me months and months of just every night just going through it, trying to find the best one and tweak it and keep tweaking it until I got it. And then finally I've got it down to where my trading that I feel comfortable with it is using the 5-period EMA and combining the 3-period pivot point moving average together.
Do you find yourself trading using this like more on like an hourly or a daily chart, or do you find yourself using it for more short-term scalps and stuff?
I use it for my swing trading, and for my day trading I don't use a 1 minute, I use a 5 minute.
Okay.
If you use it on let's go to Exxon. If we go to Exxon, I would use it on a 5 minute. Like right here, we had a nice sell-off, and when I'm looking to day trade something, to scalp it with the prop firm, what I'm looking for is a nice downtrend. Okay, I got this downtrend, then I got the stochastics that's crossing back over. I got to close above here. So then what I'll do, now I've got to close above the moving average because I'm looking for a good sell-off, not a consolidation back and forth like this. Now, see, actually right here, I would have taken this trade. I would have gotten in that candle, and I would have gotten stopped out.
Yep.
Okay, so this doesn't work all the time. It's not
well, that's more of a consolidation kind of sideways type of thing where it's kind of teetering back and forth between the two colors there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is not the holy grail. It's just a good way. But if you would have jumped back in on this one and closed above it, and you would have jumped in here and waited for a pullback to the moving average, added to your position, then yeah, you would have gone at least to a break-even trade, possibly, or a small loss. But like right here, you closed above it, you would have jumped in, let's say 81.42, and then you set your stop down here. Okay, so you got a nice slope of the moving average because as you can see, this is sloping upward. Once you've got like 10, 20 cents on the trade, start taking profits and move it to a break even. Let's see if we can get that blast off trade. And that's how I trade with it.
Okay.
And if you like right here, we had to close above it, but then it was kind of sloping downward. But we're bouncing off of a pivot. It looks like we've got a hammer candle here, reversal candle. So you jump in here, let's say around 81.40. You move up to 81.50. I mean, if you're in like 1,000 shares and you're already moving 10 cents, you need to sell half and move to a break even. I mean, that's just the way that I like to trade. And the same thing right here. We closed above it, but it was still yellow. You could have gotten in, maybe not 1,000 shares, but maybe a couple hundred shares, just to test the waters. And then you wouldn't have gotten stopped out. You would have taken some heat. But then once it did go blue, then you can add and move it up to maybe 1,000 shares and then get your 10, 20 cents and get out.
Yeah. Now, everybody's asking now. They want you to talk about the prop firm. Obviously, if you're talking about scalping, 1,000 shares of a $80 stock, you're talking about $80-some thousand. So everybody's asking, I'm assuming that you decided to do this prop firm trading because it made sense for you to use other people's money and get better at it, get better results because you've got more buying power, I guess, or whatever. Can you tell us more about how that works out for you, how it's been working out for you? I know you're a professional programmer, so it's a
the prop firm. I mean, and I told him my situation. I'm like, hey, I'm a software engineer, and I mean, I'm not going to, go away from that because I make a really decent living doing computer programming. In order for me to move on and become a full-time trader and walk away from being a computer programmer, I need to make like $150,000 a year and up for me to walk away. So
that's a lot of percentages of your profits at a prop firm, and if you could do that, then you could trade completely for yourself if you were that good, right? So why would you want to share your money with somebody else if you were that good at trading, right?
Yeah. And I trade mainly options. And with trading with the prop firm, it is good. I will, and I mean, am I allowed to say the name?
Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. The prop firm. And guys, I just want to warn you, and I just want to be straight up honest with you. If you look for a prop firm, excuse my language, but make damn sure you know who you are getting in with, or you get your money taken away from you. Because there are scams out there that will hurt you.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
And I almost fell into one, but make sure you do your homework and research it. And that's what I did, and it took me months to find one. And I found one. They're legitimate. The bad thing about trading with the good thing is, let's say you put up $5,000 and you can trade with $100,000 day trading. That's good. But the thing is, you're trading their money, so you're trading with their rules. If I lose $500 in one day, I'm shut down. I can't trade until the next day. If I'm holding positions, they do allow me to swing trade. Not everybody, but they allow me because I'm profitable at it. But they don't allow me to trade my full position. But let's say I'm down $500. I'm done. I'm shut down. I can't trade. So you have limitations when you are trading with the prop firm.
Right. And I just want to make it clear, there's people in there saying this is a private chat room. Why not share the name in the chat room? I think we can get an idea, because there's several people in our that are Day Trading Radio members that do the same thing. They work, they trade in prop firms. Might watch Day Trading Radio, as part of a hedge fund. We would never know who they are because a lot of times, they don't want to divulge that information. But I'm just saying, just by the sheer numbers of people that we have, there's probably some that have been in the past or maybe are now. But we can get a generalization. Chris's experience, doing this in a prop firm without divulging the actual name of the particular firm, and we still get you get the same result. You know what I mean? We appreciate your experience on that. So you're basically what you're saying. Just be very careful when you get into something like that because it's tricky.
Be very careful. Make sure you do your homework.
Yeah.
Do not ever deal with a prop firm overseas.
Okay, that's probably good advice.
Yeah, but they might have an address in the U.S., but they're not really there.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
But let me show you some option stuff because options is a leverage trading, just like the ES is leverage trading.
Yeah.
And do you guys want me to go into some of the option stuff?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, man.
What it is?
Yeah, this is great. All
right. Let me. Okay. Well, basically, how many options? New guys that are just wanting to get into options. How many guys out there that don't know options?
Yeah, I guarantee there's a lot of people. We've done. Cousin Vinny is really great at them. Trade for Pay, the options man. We've had a lot of people on the Trader Spotlight, and that we've had, that were pretty much focused on options trades. And every time we have those people on, the amount of interest, in the chat room, the amount of interest as far as people, actually viewing the show as it's live, there's a lot of interest in options trading. I know personally, I'm excited about
guys, and they're good.
Cousin Vinny,
Mm-hmm.
he's really good at it. He seems to really know what he's doing. And
all right, well, let me go over just some basics. Option stuff, and then I'll go into my style of trading because, to be honest with you, I don't trade just buying straight out calls and puts. I like doing spreads and collecting theta. Well, collecting premium, collecting money.
Okay.
But let me just go into what options are just to get the basics so people can understand it.
Cool.
Basically, what are options? And it's a contract that is sold to one trader, the option writer, to another trader, the option holder. Now, the contract will give the buyer the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell the security on the agreed price. This agreed price is called the strike price. Now, all contracts, when I talk about contracts, I'll talk about options. There is one thing that is absolutely will happen, and they will expire on a certain date. So on the Thinkorswim platform, I use the Analyze tab, and then I go over to Add Simulated Trade. And let's look at the SPY right here. When I talk about a strike price, when you look at the Thinkorswim platform, you have weekly options and monthly options, and then you have what are called leaps, which are completely way far out. And I usually don't trade those. But let's go to the June option on the Thinkorswim platform, and this number 22 will tell you days until last trading day. That's when the options expire. Now, options expire on the third Friday of every month. But realistically, they expire on Saturday, but we don't trade on Saturday because the market's closed. So it's the third Friday of every month. So when I talk about the strike price on the Thinkorswim platform, it's going to be these numbers right here. The 130, 131, 132. These are strike prices. And on the left side, you have calls, and on the right side, you have puts. Now, a call gives the right to buy. The stock needs to go up for you to profit. And a put, when you buy a put, it gives the right to sell. The stock needs to go down to profit. And one contract, so if we go into here and we want to buy the SPY, the ETF at 133, and we want to buy it because we think it's going to go up, and we go down here and we buy one contract is equivalent to 100 shares. So if it's trading at 133 and we're buying the 133, which it needs to go up. Once it goes up above 133, it's going to be called what's in the money. In the money means that it's trading above the strike price of your call. Now, once you are in the money, which is this gray area here, because the strike price is 132 and we're trading at 133. So if you bought at the 132, you have the right, but not the obligation, to exercise that one call and say, okay, I want to buy 100 shares of the SPY. But a lot of traders don't do that. What they'll do is when the stock moves up or the security moves up, it's going to gain value, and that's where your call is going to gain value. So one contract is equivalent to 100 shares. So if we go over here to the risk profile, and this is where I love Thinkorswim, where they just got things completely right, is when you do this, and you go over, let me do this again, you go add simulated trade, you want to buy the 133 because we think the market's going to go up. So we buy one call, and we go to the risk profile. So when you're buying a call, you're thinking the stock is going to go up. You want it to go up. So if it does go up, you're going to profit. And the good thing about it is with calls, the pros about it is that you have limited risk. Because to put on this trade, it's only going to cost you $178. As you can see right down here, that's your total risk. So even if the market does a total crash and we completely go down, the most that you can lose is $178 that you paid for that call. However, it needs to go up in the amount of time for you to profit. So if we trade up to 136 the next day, that's great. You make a good profit. On this risk profile on Thinkorswim, the white line is your profit. The red line right here is expiration. And when you move up, as you can see, I'm moving up right down in here. We can go to June, which is the 17th that it will expire. Let's say we go to the 13th, and this stock does not move, you're going to be losing money. And that's the one thing that I don't like about just buying straight up calls, because you need to be right in your timing and your direction. Now, there's two types of options, and when you are options trading, this is something that you absolutely need to understand, is the types of options. You have two types. You have an American style option and you have a European style option. Okay. An American style option is an option that can be exercised before the expiration date. And a European style option is an option that can only be exercised at the expiration date. Now, if you're just trading stocks in the S&P 500, they're all American-style options.
Right.
Once you start trading the indexes themselves, and a couple times I've traded the Russell 2000 and the SPX, those are European-style options. You don't have to worry about early assignment, and we can go into that later.
Okay.
And the main thing that you really need to understand is the Greeks when you talk about options. And this is once you learn the Greeks, the four Greeks, once you learn them, options trading and understanding it becomes much, much easier. Actually, there are 5 Greeks. You have delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho, R-H-O, which is the 5th Greek. We don't use the rho. I don't use it because I'm only trading stocks and ETFs. And now rho, R-H-O, the definition of it is it measures the sensitivity of an option to the change in interest rate. We don't use this because we're not trading interest rates and stuff like that. So that's the 5th Greek, but we never use it. But the 4 Greeks that we do use is delta, gamma, theta, and vega. So if we go out here and we buy this option at 132, and we look at down here in the Thinkorswim platform, we have delta, gamma, theta, and vega, the 4 Greeks. And if we move over to the risk profile, down here, delta, gamma, theta, and vega. Delta right here it's the change of an option price given the price movement of the underlying instrument or stock. And it's the change of an option price given the price movement of the underlying stock. So if I go down here, for every 1 point move, and this is the one thing I like about Thinkorswim, is you can go down here and you can change this stuff around, the dates and everything. Let me go back, reset my slices here, and go back to today. Let's actually go to today. Is that you can change things around before you actually put it on a position, so you can understand how your options are going to be affected. Now, let's say if we look at delta right here, which is 49.77, it's the rate of change of the underlying instrument. So if we go up 1 point, delta changes to 58.49. So, and gamma, which is right here, gamma and delta work together. So gamma is a measurement of how delta of an option will change. Shows the option's delta sensitivity to market change. It's the rate of change for delta for a 1 point move. So we have 49.78 and we have 8.99. So a 1 point move, as you can see, that 8.99 gets added to your delta. These are the only 2 Greeks that actually work together, delta and gamma. And theta is the rate of decline due to time decay. Because you're buying a call, so someone sold you that call, and you are betting within the next 22 days that the SPY is going to move up and you're going to profit. So you have to pay. Basically, you're paying for this leverage because you're only having to front up $178. Now, if we go down here to the calendar and we go to the 31st, or let's go over to next month to the 3rd, which is Friday. For those days, you're actually paying out theta. So you're paying that person money. So even if the SPY does not move and just sits there and does nothing, you will be down $34.
Okay.
So you have to be right in your direction. However, within the week, let's say we move up, we move up 3 points, you would make $161. And that's just that's straight up buying a call.
Okay.
And vega is the change in the price of an option for a 1 point change in volatility. And volatility is how the market moves when it goes up and it goes down. And we look at the VIX a lot as options traders. Yeah, FIX. What is Comfort Systems USA? Does that look good for a trade? No. All right. Let's go to the VIX. You ever type in something and it's like Yeah, all right. Is that a good trade?
Yeah. Hey, I typed in RPM one time trying to log into the chat room or something or whatever, and realized I typed it into my. You put RPM in there and take a look at that real quick.
RPM. RPM International Common Stock.
You go way back.
You ever traded it?
No.
You ever traded it?
No.
Wow.
You go way back like a year or so.
Yeah, 1 year daily. Wow.
Yeah. It's gone.
Okay.
It's gone from was that 16 to hit 27 was the high point.
26. Yeah. Wow.
I wish I'd been in it.
All right. So VIX, the volatility of the S&P 500. When the VIX is moving down, that means the market is moving up. So as you can see here, we're kind of moving down here for the past 4 days. So if we look at the SPY for the past 4 days, well, we've been kind of consolidating, but the past 2 days, we've kind of moved up. Mm-hmm. So that is the measurement of the volatility when you look at the VIX. And volatility does affect your positions as an options trader. And if you look over here on the right side, Anchor Swim, you have your implied volatility right here. Okay? So that is one thing you really want to look at. When you got stuff that's coming out with earnings, like Joy Global is coming out, I think, first of next month. When you look at Joy Global, the implied volatility for June is 40.28, and for July, it's 38.5. So it's higher for this month, which means earnings is coming out. And when actually, and a put is, let's say you buy a put. So you buy a put, you go to the risk profile, you're betting the stock is going to go down. So if you look right here, the maximum risk that we would have is $305. But the stock needs to go down for you to profit. And you're paying out theta. You're losing $7, about $8 a day. Because if we go down here to the calendar, every day passes, the closer we get to expiration, the more theta you are paying out because of the rate of decline. So when you are trading calls and puts, you need to be right in your direction and also your timing. Now, there is also things called naked calls and naked puts. This is something that is extremely dangerous.
And you need a certain size account to even be able to do those, right?
Yes. With Thinkorswim, I can trade naked puts. And to be honest with you, do I trade naked puts? Yes, I do. Do I know the risk? Yes. Am I willing to take the risk? Yes. Am I willing to take the risk in the naked call? Absolutely not. Never, ever.
Okay.
What I mean by naked call is when you buy a call, you want it to go up. When you sell a call, you're betting the stock will go down. So let's say we sell a call on Joy Global for this month. We sell a naked call. If your broker will allow you, some brokers don't allow you to do this. Thinkorswim allows me to do it. If we go over to my risk profile, and this is what we're going to talk about, assignment. You're betting the stock is going to go down. So you're right here. Now, if the stock does go down and it expires at expiration, this red line is your expiration. That's your max profit, which you would make $254, as you can see down here. Mm-hmm. If the stock goes up, you are losing money. Let's say at 88.5, let's say it goes up to $100. You would be losing about $800. Mm-hmm. That is a naked call. That is something that is extremely dangerous because you have it could trade up to $390 and you would lose $29,000. You get a margin call way before that.
Yeah, stock ain't going that high though. If the thing goes that high,
Well,
you must just give up.
Really. I just want people to understand: never ever trade naked call. And the reason for this is because you're selling a call at the 90 strike. Okay, so someone bought this call from you. So someone's betting it's going to go up. Yeah. So and let's say it does go to 90. Okay, they cannot exercise their right to buy the option. It has to go, I think, 90.01. It has to be a penny to be in the money. Okay, but let's say, and we go over here. The strike price is $90, and they're paying out $2.60. So basically, this stock has to be at 92.60 for them to even break even. Because once they exercise, you collect that all your $254. Now, the bid and the ask here is the spread, because the market makers got to make their money. Okay, it's just a 6-cent spread. This is after hours, so the spreads are kind of wide. So let's say that person bought the call and you sold it to them. Person bought the call. Let's say it does go up to $95. And we have someone that says, okay, I want to exercise my right because, hey, we had earnings. It gapped up to 95, so I want to buy 100 shares. Well, you sold this call to them naked at $90. Okay, now it's trading at $95. So if it's trading at $95 now, what you have to do is they are buying this stock at $90 because that's the agreed upon price. Okay, you have to go out and purchase 100 shares of this stock at $95.54 and then hand over those 100 shares to that individual.
There's you can see is it Casino Joe saying that basically he's been assigned the actual stock. What is he? What can you explain what we're talking about here? He says he traded naked puts and was assigned. He was assigned the stock many times.
Oh, naked puts. Okay. Yeah, this is naked calls.
Okay.
This is something you never want to do is do naked calls.
Okay.
Because you're selling it at $90 and this thing goes to $95. You have to go out and buy 100 shares at $95 and then sell it at $90. You're losing 5 points. You're
right,
at your 5-point loss. Okay. I don't ever sell naked calls. Now, I do sell naked puts. Okay. And I sell naked puts on Art Coal. I've done it a bunch of times. Also, I've done it for U.S. Steel. Actually, I'm thinking about doing a naked put on U.S. Steel anyway. So, but I don't mind owning U.S. Steel. Now, let's see. If you do a naked put, well, let's do something else. This is, well, let's say, what stock was it, Casino Dave?
Going to give him about 10 seconds. If you guys are just joining us, I'm RPM. Of course, we're doing a Trader Spotlight live on DayTradingRadio.com. And it's right here about 10:37 p.m. Eastern. And it's May 26, 2011. And we're talking to Chris Hall, who is a trader and a DayTradingRadio.com premium member. And he's a professional programmer. Full-time, but he enjoys trading options, uses Thinkorswim, and he uses it on an Ubuntu Linux desktop operating system. And he's just showing us now about how his option strategies and this Thinkorswim platform he's using. And we're just waiting for some feedback from people in the private chat room there answering his questions.
Well, let's do... Let's see, GE, General Electric. Let's say we want to do a naked, but I mean, it's okay. So it's a $19 stock, and you want to sell a naked put. Okay, selling naked puts. Only do this if you really want to own the stock. The good thing about it is that you're theta positive. You are getting paid to wait for the stock to come down to you to get the stock put to you. You get paid to wait, and it can be used for bullish swing trades, okay? But I do it use it for bullish swing trades, but you need to only do this if you really want to own the stock. So you go over here and you sell a naked put. We're trading at 1942. And let's say we sell a naked put at $19 strike. Okay? Basically what this is saying, it's a positive theta position. So you're getting paid 89 cents for today to sit and wait. As the $19 strike is right here. Okay? So as time decays, you're getting paid more money. As the white line moves up to the red line, which is the expiration line, you are getting paid to wait for GE to come down to $19. Let's say GE never comes down to $19 and it moves up to 24, and it just moves up to like 2002. That's great. It never gets to $19. So what happens is you get paid to 24 cents, which one contract is equivalent to 100 shares, which means you would collect $24 minus commissions. Mm-hmm. So you get paid to wait for the stock to come down. However, you need to fully understand, since you are naked, you will collect that $24. But if this stock comes down to, let's say, $16, you have the risk of getting that stock put to you. Since you sold the put, that stock, you have the risk of that stock getting put to you. So you better be willing to own the stock at $16. I only do this for stocks I want to own. Okay. There are a handful of them that I do want to own, and I'm willing to hold for 6 months, a year. I don't mind. The thing is, I'm not going to tie up all my capital. If I'm trading with $50,000, I'm not going to be selling naked puts on like $20,000 or $30,000 and tie up my trading capital. So naked puts are dangerous, and only do them if you really want to own the stock.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about naked puts and calls?
And there's one from Mean Dean. What if you own G? Can you sell outs on it?
Well, so if you get the stock put to you and you wake up the next day and you got 100 shares, can you turn around and sell it? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I only do this when I really want to own the stock. Now, sometimes I do this. I mean, if it looks like the world's come to an end, like last week, then, you know, what the heck? Go naked.
Yeah, there's one from Casino Joe. He says these days brokers like TradeStation will improperly call a put naked if you are not short the actual security, even though you have more than enough money to buy the stock shares. It is the new naked put. Does that make sense?
Is he selling the put?
You see what he's saying there? He said it twice. Casino Joe. In the chat room there.
These days, brokers like TradeStation will improperly call a put naked if you are not short the actual security. Huh. You have more than enough money to buy the stock shares. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's Goodbye saying naked means no. There's Stag 302 says floor traders were carried off the floor on stretchers in 1987 after they crashed. They were selling naked puts.
Yeah. It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah. 87 was rough.
Now let's say we go over here and we look at GE. Okay, so we're looking at GE, and it's coming down to it came down to the support pivot, and it's kind of bouncing off. If we think this stock is going to move up to $20, or let's say we think it's going to move up to $20, you can swing trade naked puts. So if you think this is going to move up to $20, you can come over here, and let's say it does trade up to $20. Okay, and you're naked this. I mean, your P&L will be 1466. Okay, and the margin required for this is only $285. Okay, but you have to make sure if this stock gets put to you, you got to make sure you got enough stock buying power, or you will get a margin call. At least from Thinkorswim, you will. So, do I swing trade with naked puts? Yeah, because I don't do it all the time, only on certain stocks that I'm really comfortable with. But there are ways to be bullish on a trade, and let's look at Amazon. If we look at Amazon here, as you can see, we've bounced off the you know how John talks about when you break through resistance here and it kind of runs up and then it pulls back.
Retest
I mean that's I mean, this is perfect. That's what it did. Did what John always talks about. It kind of broke through and then it pulled back, and then now this is support. So let's say we think Amazon is going to move up, and stochastics is oversold, and let's say we're going to be patient and we're going to wait for a crossover, and we'll wait for a close above the pivot point moving average. And what we can do is we can sell and buy puts together and have a little insurance policy. So we can go back here, and this is what's called a bull. It's called a vertical spread, a bull vertical spread, because you're bullish on the trade. Let's say you want to, instead of, let's say you sell the 190 strike. A stock, you have, a stock could get put to you if it starts trading below 190, it could be put to you. However, you want to buy a little insurance policy at 185. So you're buying a put, okay? So now when you look at your risk profile for Thinkorswim, as you can see here, now you have limited risk, limited downside. If this stock, if Amazon goes to 160, the most that you would lose is $378, okay? So you're buying yourself a little insurance policy. This is just a bull vertical spread. Now you are capped on your upside because you bought some insurance on the downside. So you're short the 190, but you're buying the 185. So let's say we come over here and we say, okay, let's say we come right above here to $200. Let's say we can move 5 points. If you move 5 points, then we go to 200, you will make $45 on the trade. This white line is your profit that you're making, okay, at the current traded price. The red line is your max profit, and then down here past the 190, this line right here is your expiration line. At expiration, which is June 17th, as you can see, if we go to the 14th, that white line starts moving closer to the red line. So even if the stock sits there and does nothing, and you're at the week of expiration, you're still making $67, and you have limited downside risk. So you're risking $378, and if it sat there and did nothing the week of expiration, you would make $67. If it moved up to $200, you would make about $110. That's really good risk reward. I mainly don't hold these to expiration. I try to get the profit and make the profit. So if this is trading up and it moves up to $200, if I've got 2 contracts on, then it moves up $200 and I'm making $80 because this is just one contract. We bump this up to 2 contracts. I'm making $80 and I'm only risking $756, and that's all you have. The margin required to put on this trade with Thinkorswim is $756. You get a 5-point move and you're making $80. You sell half put $40 in your pocket, and make sure this doesn't turn into a losing trade. So your return on margin and your percentage is really good. And this is really good for people that don't have $20,000. I mean, that can go out and buy a couple hundred shares of Amazon. This is a really good trade. However, you need to understand is once you get below 190 and you're trading down here to like 180 and you're getting close to expiration, you have the risk of that stock being put to you at 190. However, you can go out and you can buy it at 185. Okay, so it really doesn't matter if it does go to 180 or 100. Okay, because you're buying the put at 185, which gives you insurance. But you still need the capital to go out there and buy it. So for those that don't have the money to be doing this, but you do want to trade Amazon and Apple and Google on these verticals, the main thing is when you're looking at the chart and you start breaking through this 190, you need to start thinking about taking a $150 loss. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I swing trade these, and I swing trade with John. I mean, I'm in a Vail trade, bull vertical with him in my live account, making money. I mean, John was trading Google. I was trading vertical spreads on Google, swing trading it, and I was making money. So I did it twice, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. So, I mean, these are a great way to really trade. If you don't have a whole lot of capital, you are leveraged. And just like Joy Global, you can go to Joy Global here. We've closed above the pivot point moving average right here. We've closed above it. Hasn't turned yellow, but it has flatlined. And it looks like we're holding this support here. Stochastics is crossing over, running back up, and John talks about the separation of the stochastics. I mean, we could get the separation like we did here, and this thing could run. Mm-hmm. So Joy Global, you could jump into Joy Global on the vertical spread here. And where would you put the vertical spread? Well, let's say if we broke through this trend line, like around 85, I would probably want to be out of the trade because, I mean, we could go all the way down to 75. So let's go over here to the Analyze tab. Go over to Add Simulated Trades. Let's go to the $85 strike. Now with Thinkorswim, a bull vertical is just, and now the definition of a vertical spread is the simultaneous buying and selling of an option with the same expiration date but different strike prices. So you're selling the 85 and you're buying the 82.5. Or with Thinkorswim, you could just right click on the 85 and go to Sell Vertical, and now it already automatically sets it up for you as a vertical spread. So with Joy Global, as you can see here, we closed above the pivot point moving average. Let's say the resistance, next resistance is around 94 to the support pivot because we broke through it. And that's one thing I learned from John, using pivot points. If it holds it, it's support. Once it breaks through,
it becomes resistance.
Now it becomes resistance. So that's one thing I learned from John. So let's say it could run up to 84. Well, let's say 94. Let's say 94, it runs up to 94. I mean, you're making $43 on one contract. And it's only costing you $177 to put on that trade. Let's say you put on 4 of them, and let's say you run up to have a couple point move up to $91, sell 1 or 2, put some profit in your pocket, move to a break even, and let's see how far we can run. Can we hold it to expiration to capture the full profits?
So when you say move to break even, you mean move stop to break even?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. When you get a profit, and it's a pretty decent profit, take some money, and let's say this stock does move up, let's say to $91. You're at $106 profit. This is a theta positive position because you're selling an 85 put and you're buying 82.5. So that 85 theta is working in your favor. Okay, you are collecting theta. However, that put is going to become profitable as the stock moves up. It's going to become more valuable. So that's why we're making $106. This line right here, this red line, is the break-even point. This white line, as you can see, the number changes. That's just your profit. Or below this, your break-even is your loss. So let's say we do move up. What I would do is just sell half. Oops.
There's a question for you right there. Centerstone says, did you say they were credit puts or debit calls?
They are credit. Because as you can see here, it's credit, which means you are getting paid 73 cents. So if you hold this to expiration, you would make 73 cents per contract. Let's go down here to just one contract. Okay. So your max profit up here is 73 cents. This is a credit spread. People call them credit spreads, bull vertical spreads. A credit means that you are collecting theta, and I'm glad you made that point. A credit means you are collecting money, so you are getting paid. It's a positive theta position. Now, that's how I trade the vertical spreads. I just trade them like I would swing trade a stock, and I don't have to tie up a whole lot of capital, and you can... you can just, you can go in here and buy 10 contracts if you want to, and you would only have to put up $1,770. And if you moved up to 91.45, you would make $267. That's pretty good return on margin required to just put up the trade. Now, these aren't always good for everything. The one thing you need to understand when you're putting on these option trades is your bid and your ask. Your bid is $1.95 and your ask is $2. So that's a 5-cent spread. That's pretty tight. Okay, when you're dealing with like the SPY, it's usually a penny spread. And when you put on option trades, you need to really, really pay attention to your spreads. Because if you sell a vertical here, and if you right-click here and you go to Edit, Thinkorswim is all automatically going to give you the best price possible, the mid price. You might not get filled here because the spread for this bull vertical spread is from 69 to 73. So you might have to lower this to get 72 and hit confirm and send to get filled. And so you need to pay attention to the spreads. There's one stock I would love to be able to trade, but I just don't like to, and that is BlackRock. Because BlackRock, as you can see here, 2.25 to 255. I mean, that's a 25-cent spread. That's $25. That's too wide of a spread for me. I don't like that. And also another thing which you guys really need to look for is the open interest in options. And BlackRock right here at a $200 strike has got an open interest of 272. If it's usually not above 500, I usually don't like getting into them. But if you look at like the SPY, that's in the thousands. I mean, you look at the 134 strike, that's 161,000 open interest. That's how many options out there that are already open. Okay, so they're very liquid. It's just like
high volume, basically, like a lot of
exactly.
volume. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why day trade a stock when it only trades 10,000 shares a day? There's absolutely no way I would try to day trade that. 100, a couple 100,000, yeah. So you really need to pay attention to your open interest. Okay, make sure it has good open interest, and also pay attention to your bid and ask, the spreads. Make sure that you're not paying market price. And also, I do have some notes here.
Mean Dean wants to know, do you trade SPY options a lot?
Actually, yes. I have traded the SPY options. What I have gotten into is trading the E-mini, not the E-mini, the ES futures with options now.
Interesting.
So, and the beautiful thing about this is that with ES options, you can trade overnight. With the regular options, when the market closes, you can't trade your options. Market's done. You're over. Mm-hmm. And actually, this is a paper trading account. And I actually put on, if you look at the ES on Thinkorswim, if you / ES, it does have options. So you guys that want to swing trade the ES, you can do it with your options. Here's the ES, the E-mini S&P 500 Index Futures. Right now, this is a paper trade account. Right now, I'm in a June contract. It expires in 8 days. The good thing about these is that you can trade weekly options that expire every week. And that's what I did here. And I'll put on a vertical spread on this one. And yeah. And what I did was I basically sold the 13.10 and bought the 13.25. Now the open interest on here is extremely low. So you might not want to do this in a real account. If you go to 5 days to expiration, you can see the open interest here is really liquid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I just threw this on just to show you guys, hey, you can trade options with the E-mini futures. And this is a vertical spread. So if we look at the risk profile, and when we go to today, I put this on, I think it was a couple of days. See, we came down here to the support pivot, and then I put on the trade, and we kind of bounced off of it. Now that we've closed above the pivot point moving average.
That's going to turn blue soon.
It's going to turn blue, so I'm going to just hang on to this or even add to my position. Mm-hmm. So even if we get up to 1339, 1340, that'll be great. So, I mean, we get up to 1340, and you'll be making like $100, $110. Now, it only cost me, I'm risking $350 to put on this trade.
Mm-hmm. But if you made $100 off of that, that's 33% profit on your investment.
Yeah.
That's amazing, you know?
Yeah. And this is with the ES. You can trade this overnight. So let's go over here, and let's say we want to add to this position. We have 8 days to expiration. We would right-click. We would sell a vertical. Okay? So then you go over to your risk profile. Now, this is saying like 10 contracts. Okay? Let's say I don't want to do 10 contracts. Let's say I want to just do 8 contracts and just add up to 10. Okay? And everything looks good. And I'm already, if I unclick this, that shows me what my position is already. I'm making $68. I'm going to add to this position. So when you're ready to put on this trade, you want to right-click and click on Edit. And your bid and your ask is right here. Now this is, from what I've noticed, and I've done some live trades with ES, they seem to get filled pretty good. But it seems on the paper trading account, they don't do all that great. But also I've noticed that towards the end of the night, after 10 o'clock, in the middle of the night, like your profit, like the volatility on it, like all of a sudden you'll see like, oh, I was making $100, and all of a sudden you'll see like, oh, I'm making 150, oh, I'm making 200, and then all of a sudden you're like down 100.
Yeah.
It'll drive you nuts.
I bet it would. And that's because there's not a whole lot of volume going on in what's there or whatever. Yeah, it's based on what just happened, and it doesn't really mean anything. Not until the volume picks up, right? So.
Yeah, and during the day, it's really nice. It really settles down, and your profit and loss is pretty accurate. This right here, let's say we want to put on the trade. This right here will be paying. Now with Thinkorswim with paper trading account, it's easy to get filled.
That's because it's paper.
That's because it's paper.
Yeah, right. It's not real. It's simulated. Yeah.
So we go to confirm and send. And right here, your max profit would be $280 to expiration. Your max loss would be $1,700. Okay. And of course, it's like $48 for commissions, but this is, they're trading commissions for the paper trading I just don't pay attention to. You hit confirm and send, and as you can see, we got filled. So the E-mini, ES, and right down here, you'll see where you can get filled and stuff, okay, in your order queue. But right now, we've got 10 contracts on the E-mini futures, and we're just we just added 8 contracts. Yeah, all right. I just had to look up there to make sure I was in my paper account.
Make sure, yeah.
I have done that before.
I hear you.
I've had my live account, my paper account up at the same time and put on trades. It ain't fun.
I did that before. Because I was logging in to show the ES during the Trader Spotlight Lunch Munchies, and I was logged into the paper side. And then when the Lunch Munchies was over, I took the Thinkorswim, and it was still logged in on the paper side, and I did an ES trade. And yeah, I did an ES trade just, for myself, because I wanted to hurry up and do a trade. I just felt like I needed to do at least one contract, right? And I did it, and I made 2 points on the trade, and then I realized how come the money didn't show up in the account. When I logged back in a little bit later, and I realized it did on the paper side. That happened not this week, but last week. And
oh man,
yeah. So
yeah, but it makes you feel good that you were right.
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel terrible though that the damn thing didn't go through. It's like completely pretend. You know what I mean? Because before that I got stopped out by a point on one. The day before.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's easy to do. You forget where you're at. So,
but yeah, just make sure you don't got both of them up at the same time. But we just put on a bull vertical. We just added to the bull vertical spread on the E-mini futures. So you guys can trade the E-mini futures. If you want to swing trade the E-mini futures, you can do it with options. You just need to understand. We all know this thing could open up 20 points down. In the morning, you wake up in the morning, you could be down here to 13.10 and be losing $460.
Mm-hmm.
That you just need to understand when you put on these trades, you need to look at the risk profile and be like, okay, am I happy with this loss?
Right.
That's the first thing I look at. I don't look at the profits that I can make. I look at, okay, if I'm wrong on the trade, I'm going to get out if it breaks through here. I need to get out right around 13.12, 13.10. So how many contracts do I put on? Do I put on 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? It depends on what my max loss would be.
Yeah. There's Metal Gerbils Forever. It's got one. He says, look at PRI for an ugly options chain.
PRI.
Yeah.
Primerica. Huh.
He says that high delta, no bid price. Crazy spreads.
What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's an excellent point. And thanks for bringing this up. The first thing I look at is the spread. Yeah. The second thing I look at is look at these open interest. Yeah. You can get into 100 of them if you want and pay market price, but open interest is just horrible.
Yeah, somebody's going to be happy if you did that. Nobody else is messing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, also another thing you really want to look at is the let's look at Apple. If we look at Apple, what you want to look at is because Apple trades weekly options too. So this one expires in 7 days, and then this one expires on the 22nd. You want to look at your spread. Right here is a 15-cent spread. Okay. But this is after hours. Normally, during hours, it's pretty tight. After hours, the spreads get pretty wide. But the open interest, you got 10,000 on the call, and you got open interest 30-some thousand on the puts. I mean, you got nice liquid stocks. And the one thing in trading options is don't buy options just because they're cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap for a reason.
Yeah, they're cheap for a reason. When you are trading options, you need to trade your high-quality stocks. Yeah. You need to trade Apple, your Googles. You need to trade good quality stocks. And also, another thing is the higher the price of the stock, it seems like the more profit you can make. So a $20 stock is not going to, on a bull vertical spread, is not going to make you as much as an $80 stock.
And the quality stocks, it goes back to the same thing John preaches. Stick with something that's a well-known and quality company. And you're going to have more liquidity. More volume in like this Apple. I mean, look at the open interest on it. So, you're going to be able to do pretty much which if you decide to make a move, you're going to be able to do it because there's plenty of it going on. So I guess that it goes back to the same thing. Don't trade junk.
No. I mean, when I'm trading options, I just trade. To be honest with you, I just stick with the S&P 500. And that's it. I don't trade anything outside of that. I try to stick within that. Also, you want to look at the probability of expiration. That's what this is right here, your probability of expiration. So if you look at this and you look at Apple that's trading at 335, let's say you look at the chart and you want to put on a trade and it's below the pivot, looks like it's starting to flatline. It looks like we could move up to at least to 340. So what's the probability of it getting there? Well, at 340, your probability is 37.12. So let's just round this off to 40%. Okay? That means if you put on that trade, you got about a 60% chance of it hitting 340. That's what this means.
They were just saying Apple is a NASDAQ stock.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but we know what you mean.
Sometimes I go outside of the S&P 500.
Yeah. I don't really think Apple is that far of an oddball stock, though. You know what I mean? I think it's pretty. I
look at Apple and Netflix all the time.
Yeah. Good night, Cousin Vinny. Thanks for posting that video. Cousin Vinny posted a video on a section. There's a K to start saying that Intel is a cheap, relatively inexpensive, well-known stocks. He likes options on it.
Yes, this Intel, nice, good $22 stock, but look at it, nice tight spread, and look at the open interest.
Yep.
I mean that is really good.
Yep.
Okay, this one right here. Yeah, this would be a nice trade.
I think Elvis in the chat room there. I've seen him a couple of times a day. I think Elvis might be new. If he is, Elvis, I'd like to say welcome to Day Trading Radio Premium side. And if you're not new, then thanks for your membership anyways. And we appreciate we appreciate you stepping up and starting to type in the chat room. But I have a feeling he's a new guy. So welcome aboard to all you new people out there. I see a lot of new names in the room there. So we appreciate you guys for stepping up and joining. And we hope to keep you happy and appreciate your memberships. So we're talking with Chris Hall, and obviously, man, I didn't know how you obviously know what you're doing. Let's just put it that way. It's pretty amazing. I don't know.
I've got the videos up on my website. You guys might have to come back in a couple of days once it comes back up.
No, it's back. It's back. Everybody
Yeah.
stopped banging on it. That Bluehost, man, they won't let you have more than 5 or 6 concurrent connections. You know.
Yeah, I need to get a different site because I've got videos up there that teach people about the options from the very basics all the way up to the types of trades that I do. And some of them are 15 minutes long. Some of them are 30-minute long videos. And there are videos that I actually just teach people, hey, this is what I'm doing. And also I do wrap-up videos. So people can come to my site and watch me trade and learn from me and watch my videos. Download my custom indicator. It's all free membership. And if it ever does get big enough so where I would need to charge, and I've thought about this, if you are a day trade member, you are not going to pay. I'm not going to charge you $25 a month. It might be like $10 a month. That's if I ever do start charging. Day trading members will always get the top notch deal no matter what.
All right, but for now, everything you're doing is free, and obviously, this Trader Spotlight, I ain't paying you nothing, so
yeah, no,
and it's and this is recorded, so you guys can always go back and watch a 2-hour program. I'm gonna close out the team viewer now. I think we need to wrap it up. We appreciate you, appreciate your time, man. This is pretty good, really good, and I'm really interested in talking to you about your experiences with the Linux side of your Ubuntu, how you like your running Ubuntu as a desktop operating system, because I'm considering it, and running Windows 7 now. Yeah. I've installed it and I like it, but I'm like, am I going to run into a brick wall somewhere? See, now this is something that I recently did. Now I don't even know if I can run live stream on it or not. I don't know if live streams Procast will run on Linux or not. It probably would run extremely well if it but
I think it might.
Yeah, and I know that Thunderbird does. I use Thunderbird for my IMAP mail client. I know Thunderbird will run on it. I know Mozilla Firefox. I will. I don't know if is there a Chrome port? I would think Chrome would run on it since Google is pretty much open source freaks.
You're not screen sharing anymore, but I've got Chrome up. I mean, I've got Chrome installed on here as well.
We got a caller. Let's add this to the to see who this is. Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Yeah, you're on live with RPM and Trader Spotlight, and we got Chris Hall. Who's calling?
Yeah, Chris Hall. What's his website?
Well, we're not going to give it on audibly. You gotta be in the chat room to get it.
Oh, yeah, because he keeps on talking about it.
Yeah. You can if you're not a member then. You're not.
No.
Yeah. We're going to try to keep that to just the members only. That's one of the benefits of being a premium member.
Okay, so what's the cost to become a premium member?
$29.95. It's a free for 2-week trial.
All right, and where's the website for becoming a premium member on this?
Premium
website?
You mean premium member? Day Trading Radio premium member?
Yeah.
DayTradingRadio.com.
And then it's $29.95. Then you'd be able to find out. Then you'd be able to get in to see Chris Hall, his website.
Well, yeah, you could do that, but that wouldn't be the only thing you'd gain from it. I mean, Chris is just
get a lot.
Yeah, Chris is just one. He's just one of hundreds and hundreds of members. That you gain access to.
No, but I mean, hundreds and hundreds of members don't have the knowledge that this man has.
Oh, but
so I'm not interested in listening to hundreds of members. I want to listen to a guy who knows what he's doing, like this guy.
Well, Have you ever watched any of
this
the?
This is the first time that somebody told me about it to tune in.
Yeah.
And I'm very impressed by Chris Hall.
Yeah. Well, the Trader Spotlight. I've been doing Trader Spotlight shows. I'm not the primary host guy. DayTraderRockStar is. He does the day shows and live market calls during the day, and he's the main guy and primarily reason for all the loyal members that we've got. Premium members that we have, but I do the nighttime interviews, and we have guest members come on. So Chris is a member of Day Trading Radio. He's in the chat room occasionally, but he's in there, would answer private messages, if you needed, had any questions or needed any help or whatever. But we've done 86 of these Trader Spotlight shows, and they're all archived on the website. Yeah, you can go back.
That's very good. Now, how often do you do what's taking place tonight? Is that once a week? Or?
On Thursday nights we do Trader Spotlight, and then on Tuesdays during the lunch hour, like between noon and 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, I take over and do interviews during the market hours on Tuesdays while
is that Eastern Standard Time?
Yeah.
Okay, and on Thursday, is that what time does this begin on Trader Spotlight?
9 to 11.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, Eastern Time, and of course they're archived too. So if you go to DayTraderRadio.com, you can find the links on the bottom. They're orange links, and it'll say RPM's Trader Spotlight or Trader Spotlight Live Archive.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of shows, and you can play those back, and some of them are 3 or 4 hours long. But those are free for everybody to watch. But every single person that's been a guest, is a DayTradingRadio.com premium member, and we've got a lot of options, guys. We've got Cousin Vinny, who's done
Cousin Vinny? I never even heard of him.
Right, Cousin Vinny has done 3 or 4 Trader Spotlight shows with us. He's very active in our chat room for the past year and a half at least, and he's excellent. I mean, Chris will testify that Cousin Vinny's brilliant options trader.
Yeah, he's good man. He knows what he's doing.
There's several people that have been on the Spotlight that are really good options traders, but also we've had really good ES Mini futures traders that have been on. I mean, just a whole.
That's interesting. Now, who is? You said many that are good. Who would be a few of them by name that I might know of?
Well, I don't know if you'd know their name unless you're a Day Trading Radio listener. If you you might not know him, but there's NC Dave. He calls himself the Fib Doctor. Really good fib trader. Trades primarily ES futures. There's a recent one that we did with a gentleman named Michael Freeman, who's a very good DayTradingRadio.com premium member. He's been a member for a good while. NC Dave has been a member. All the Trader Spotlight shows that you can find on the archives, and I think there's probably 75 or 80 of them up there now. All of those, every single one of those shows was with one of Day Trading Radio's premium members, somebody that's been a member of Day Trading Radio and pays for their membership to be here, and have probably been a member for at least a year or more. It's a really awesome community of traders. Then we get together.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it really is, and we have a private chat room, which is the main, probably the main community part, of the whole thing. And we're all in there talking to each other. You can have private messages with other people. People can, go discuss, trading ideas or whatever during the market hours or at night or whatever. We do research together, stuff like that. But you could always just watch DayTradingRadio.com tomorrow morning, when the market opens, and you can get an idea of what the main host, which is John, he goes by DayTraderRockStar, and he's been he's a master trader. I mean, the guy's been trading forever, and it's really his site, and I'm just an extra guy, that helps out. But all the go ahead. I'm sorry.
What is your name, please?
I go by RPM. My name's Paul, and
so you're name is RPM. Your name is Paul, but you go by RPM.
Well, my name's Robert Paul Matthews, so that's my initials, RPM. That's my handle in the chat room. Most everybody in the chat room, they have a nickname like Cousin Vinny or NC Dave or so that would be like your chat room handle, and that's your username, and that's how we all communicate with each other that way. But as we get to know the members and they become valuable people that speak out a lot in the chat room, people start to learn, who's really good, who's experienced, who's really good at their style of trading and stuff. And they're invited to come on the Trader Spotlight. We get to know them better. And like Chris, obviously, he's given us his real name and everything. It's all completely up to them. But it's a really awesome community is what it is. And it's a community of traders that all help each other through good times and bad. And really, John, DayTraderRockStar, the guy that runs the whole site and everything, he's a master educator, and he really does a really good job calling the markets during the day. And then part of that premium membership, you get to follow his live trades, which get broadcast into the chat room as he does them. He doesn't call those out over the air, so you couldn't see them over the regular live show, but you can see them as you're logged into the private member area. But that's something that you get. But just watching the show with during the market hours without even being a member or logged in or anything, you can gain a tremendous amount of knowledge, and it's a great companion tool. If you're already an active trader, it's a great companion, just something to have to listen to, and you get it's just another feed that's relative to the market and what's going on. He plays a little bit of music. He calls the futures, as he sees them happening. He'll bring up charts for different stocks and stuff. He's primarily a swing trader. He's also been trading some of the ES during the day. And like I said, once you log in and you become a member and you see all the other people in the chat room, you start to realize there's all kinds of trading going on in the room, and we're all a community. We help each other out, and that's my sales pitch, for the site. So
thank you for all that generous information, sir.
Sure.
So what I want to do is keep on listening.
Sure.
And then I see there's a sign over here where it says sign up for a 2-week free trial subscription.
Absolutely. And what
that's the one right there.
Yep, that's the one. And you can, you don't have to do that. You can watch the broadcast during the day, just to get an idea of what it's like. But
what time does it start during the day?
Well, usually he usually starts 8 to 8:30 in the morning, and he'll run all the way to about 4:15, 4:30. If there's a lot of earnings and stuff coming out, after the market close, a lot of times he'll stay a little bit later and he'll cover some of that stuff. And then we're doing night shows as well. I do a tech show. I'm actually the way I got involved in day trading radio, I actually host the servers. I run a web hosting business, and so I run server farm. And day trading radio is actually a client of mine when it comes to the technical aspects of everything.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you a question, a little off the subject then.
All right.
There was to get a state-of-the-art laptop. There was. I was aiming at a dual core, and then then there were 3-core and quad cores.
Yep.
So there's a quad core computer over at a store called Micro Center.
Okay.
And they want $495 for it.
$495 for a quad core Acer.
Yeah.
Yep, that sounds cheap for a quad core. That must be an AMD chip, not an Intel chip.
It is an AMD chip.
Yep. I have a lot of people, and there's a lot, and we do a tech show on Tuesday nights as well. That I do at the same time, and we talk about we shop for laptops right on the screen. We shop for computers right on the screen. We shop for monitors. We shop for all that stuff. We talk about Windows problems and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's really about the tech side of computers and what day traders need for good computer setups. We share software ideas and all that stuff. But I have had a lot of people say that the AMD, for especially bang for the buck, you can't beat it. If you can get a quad core laptop for under $500, as long as the rest of the features on it and everything are okay with you, I say go for it. Because it really, with trading, you really don't need that much horsepower, for most of your trading applications. But a quad core AMD for under $500, I would think that you would get. That's a lot of bang for your buck.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Because I've been doing a little looking around. My initial intention was just to buy the dual car. And when I was in the store, and he says, well, we also have these.
Right.
And then he showed me the tri-core by Acer, and then he went into the quad-core. Oh, sir, I'm sorry to say I've got a call coming in. I got to take care of, but I thoroughly enjoy. I'll have to give you a call again in the future.
Yeah, and just start watching tomorrow morning, okay? And
Okay.
We appreciate your call.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys.
Alrighty.
Awesome,
Hey,
huh, Chris?
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to have to contact you about getting off Bluehost, because I just grabbed them real quick to get the site up and running. But I mean, because I'm running embedded Flash videos for all the educational videos, and I know if I get like 100 members, that's just going to lag and just piss people off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how much is it going to cost?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it another time. We'll see. But yeah, it's all completely depends. You know what really your biggest concerns are running any website. Whenever you have a dynamic content, PHP driven pages and everything, is really more about the hits and less about the bandwidth. You'd be surprised. I mean, you can pull a lot of bandwidth out of a server, and the hosting company really doesn't care. It's when you're doing the CPU intensive stuff like Perl and PHP and all that is when they start screaming. And that's when you start seeing SQL errors and stuff like that, where the system just doesn't have enough available resources to handle it. The bandwidth is probably less of a problem more than anything.
Yeah.
But
hey, also, I've tried contacting John about like paid advertising or anything for just to get these educational videos out to people and to the members. But I mean, how do I go about contacting him? I tried contacting him through that market stuff about doing paid advertising, but I don't know. Honest, I think it gets lost in the emails.
Well, you know what? When you get about 1,000 emails a day,
I know.
I can send him one, and it says in all caps, "Your office is on fire. Run." Okay, and 3 weeks later, he'll reply back and says, "Thanks for this. We must have put it out because the office is still here." So it's not. Don't take it personally. Anybody for that matter, guys.
Oh, I know.
Anybody.
So many.
You guys just have no clue. And when I started hosting shows, and I started getting, an extra 25, 30 emails every night, and everything. And then, after, 100 hours work week, I'm sleeping 2-3 hours a night sometimes, and it's like I get done with the show and there's still another 10 emails in there I need to answer. I got to be honest with you guys. The first time in my professional life, I actually sometimes just take the emails and just drop them in a folder, and I never get a chance to really go back to them. And I feel like I'm letting people down, but there's a limit to one human can only do but so much, And
I know. And
he gets 10,000 times more than I will ever get. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, you could talk to him about that. I mean, I'm sure he would want to know more about, detailed. I'm not sure if he's, going to have a chance to watch the show later or whatever, but obviously you're a brilliant trader, man, and you've got things to offer, and you're offering a lot of your videos and all that stuff and everything. You're offering it to the members, for free to look at, and much like Cousin Vinny and NC Dave and everybody else has contributed. We appreciate you contributing on the Spotlight, and it'll be the Spotlight show we just did that we're doing right now. Will be available for people to watch, and we appreciate your contribution, and you never know, if you got something to offer somebody, and we always appreciate when people have, and you've already had a website, so it's like your website was already there, you're benefited from Day Trading Radio. Maybe we could work out some kind of banner deal, where you run a link to Day Trading Radio or something, and you get some people to find us through, your website. We could do some kind of banner exchange. I'm not making any promises or nothing, but I can certainly see something like that possibly working out in the future. And
because I mean the site's free, and I just want to get the information out to people, and right. I mean, I make money off of programming and trading, so it ain't like I'm gonna try and get rich off of a site. That's for sure.
No, exactly. I mean, and the majority of the people that help out, they're not here. I mean, obviously, you're not. If you had some proprietary system that you wanted to charge money for, you wouldn't be doing a 3-hour Trader Spotlight that's going to be available for people to watch over and over and over again. So, you're giving your script away for free, and we appreciate it. We really do. Your scripting, and I've got some ideas for some what do you call it? Think script? Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, Think script. It's called Think script. They've got a pretty good reference manual online, and I mean, if you know anything about programming, it doesn't take very much to get up and running with it. I mean, if people are using that indicator and you want to use it with Thinkorswim, there's a contact form on the site. Let me know. Hey, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I would like to see. Can you do this?
Right.
Give me the pros and cons. Let me know.
What
what
would
you think.
Yeah, what would be cool is to have somewhere to have a repository of all the did I say suppository? Did I say repository?
I don't know, man.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like an archive of all the ideas that we come up with for the Thinkorswim scripting, and just have all the the different ones, because that kind of thing, you just import it directly into your Thinkorswim and you've got it. We could share those amongst each other, and I'm sure you'll come up with just as many ideas from people in the chat room as you give ideas to others. You know what I mean? It's about being a community together, and man, it's just amazing ideas and stuff that I've seen, and that's what makes it all special, man. When you get several hundred people all chatting together, it's magical as far as I'm concerned, and hopefully we just gained a member with the guy that just called in. You never know when somebody's going to stumble across the site, just never seen it before. Never heard it, never seen it before. He probably thinks I'm somebody special. It's like, no, I'm just filling in. I'm the janitor. But we got somebody special named Chris Hall that we're interviewing tonight. Wait till you think I'm great. You wait till you watch DayTraderRockStar tomorrow, Call to Market, when it really goes down. So, but
he's either going to like it or he'll be offended if John is in one of his moods tomorrow.
No, the guy will be fine with it. If he can tolerate me, he can definitely tolerate John. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I tell you what. Sometimes John has got me rolling. It's like, man. I think it was sometime this week. I was just thinking, man, just stop talking.
Oh my God, man! Some of the stuff that he talks about, man, I get laughing so hard, man. I start coughing, I fall on the ground, I vomit all over the floor. Yeah. I mean, when I type in the room, LOLOF or whatever, laughing, on the floor, falling on the floor. A lot of times, I'm just getting back in the chair. I mean, he'll crack you up, and it's like, he's not even laughing at his own joke, but it's so funny. It's like you laugh. You have no choice with the laugh. It's funny, and then his skit with Dawit and stuff. I mean. And it's what drew me to it. I said to myself, he was the worst trader in the world. I still have to watch because it's great entertainment too. You know what I mean? And then couple that with the fact he's a master trader. What more can you ask for?
The best times was when I was in Florida, and it was so awesome because those were the volatile days.
Yeah.
Market was just crashing, going up and down. I remember when Citigroup went down, I think it was like $1 or something. I think it was Citigroup. He called up, I think the Citigroup corporate office or something. He called, and I was down in Florida working in an office. He actually called them up and tried to buy some of their desks and chairs. He's like, "Well, you guys are going out of business, right? I just figured I could buy some stuff from you real cheap."
Wait a minute, this is you met John in Florida?
No.
No.
He was on the air. And
okay.
Citigroup. And he's like, because I remember when the market was really.
Wait, when was that? When was that? So you've been listening for a long time, then? I mean, you've been listening
for a very
long
time.
Okay. So,
what happened? You probably looked at my membership, and it says like almost 2 years.
I haven't looked at it, but yeah, I imagine it's been a long time then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because. I started listening to him, and I remember when Citigroup was trading like at $1, and John on the air called the corporate office and asked if he could buy some of their desks and chairs since they were going out of business.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's crazy. That's crazy. We're about to call up GM and ask, since the bankruptcy, they're going to be selling any of their equipment or any half-built cars on the assembly line that might run or whatever. I mean, there's no telling what he's going to do next. I mean, just the other day I heard him calling. Who did he call? Best Buy or somewhere? I know he's called Best Buy before. He's called Sprint. He's called Verizon. I mean. AT&T.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's crazy, because it's on the air, man. It's like you have to glue yourself and listen to that when it starts. I mean, you just. Even my wife, man, you would think that, she listens to it all day long. My wife has 4 day trading the DayTraderRockStar black T-shirts. When we got done at the expo, John had we had so many extra T-shirts and everything. He's like, let's leave a lot of them out here, and if people will come by when we're gone, they can still grab some off the table, grab the bumper sticker, grab a flyer, see what, and then you have a shirt. We'll give them away. He's being generous. There's a whole stack of them. Well, my wife, she's like, I'm going to get me a couple, because she'll wear them, and she does. And that's all she wears. So she walks around now with these black DayTraderRockStar T-shirts, and I feel like when I get into bed with her, she uses them for nightgown. And I get into bed with her, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm sleeping with DTRS.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
some feedback.
Huh? Are we getting some feedback?
Yeah, I just had to close out that site.
Oh, okay. And so I'm sitting
there
there
on pause.
When she's she's got her back to me most of the time. Okay, I'm just looking at a vinyl star. When I wake up in the morning, it's a vinyl star. When I go to sleep at night, there's a vinyl star. When I flip over, there's a laptop with a chat room. It's like it's this. I live, breathe, and sleep and eat day trading radio, and my wife does too. And it's like since New York, she's really because he had us both. He had us both come up. He paid for everything. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
We had a ball, man. I mean, serious. It was great meeting all the members and everything. But anyway, since then, she's like all for it. You know what I mean? She's like, this is great. Things are looking great, and everything. She's proud of me. She knows some of the members now. And she's got her own little name, Dixie Beaver, that she goes by and stuff. And that's kind of like her southern crazy nickname or whatever. But anyways, She listens all the time too. So if I'm talking to another customer that I have or whatever, or if I'm talking to a member and I'm on my phone and I'm like I've walked out of the room and I've left the volume up, and something happens that's funny, or John's getting ready to do something funny, she'll come get me and say, you got to come hear this. You got to come hear it. Listen to, this is, it's crazy, man. It's a lot of fun. And I spend a lot of hours working on it, but it's because I love it. And it's like, does it really work if you really enjoy it so much, And
oh, I know. I mean, as far as computer programming, I get paid good for what I enjoy to do.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat room right now. But it's like, and trading is probably one of the most stressful things somebody can do, especially when they're struggling. When they're struggling to figure out the best way to do it, and you have mixed, inconsistent results, which are so. It's like somebody just peeing in your open mouth when it's like you think you got it figured out and you've had a couple of great trades, and the next thing you know, you'd make the most horrible, stupid trade and it will yank the air right out of your balloon or whatever you want to call it. It's like, it's hard. People out, the very best traders in the world will tell you it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. And having a site like Day Trading Radio, and here's my sales pitch again, and I think everybody that's a premium member will testify to this, at least somebody that's been here more than 5 or 6 months, like yourself. It's something that you, if nothing else, even if you're a very good trader in your own right, if nothing else, it's great market coverage and entertainment, and it's an excellent support system. In every way, from technical to, technical as far as, computers messing up and stuff like that, okay, to, just getting opinions on, positions, or getting opinions on, what do you think about this position? And if you don't want to do that on your own, you can follow John and do well. So, it's great, and it's only getting better. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So,
I know John talks about having an option section on the site, but man, we've got so many good option traders in here. It's like, we really need it.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool, and that's coming. That type of thing is coming. The new version of the site is taking forever. But we want to try to get it right, and really, what you guys will probably see when we first launch that you will basically see something that pretty much looks basically like what we have now as far as functionality wise. But what will be built into that, which you see, eventually you will see more sections being added to the site, and it will be something that we won't have to go and hire an extra programmer to build another page or whatever. It's going to be something that John or Brian or me or anyone that has access to the back end will just be able to create extra pages. They'll be there in the menu.
If you guys need a programmer as far as for the website, I can do stuff for you. That's not a problem. If I got time, I can do it for you. And and I'm not going to charge a fortune. Hey, if you're government, I'm going to charge you a fortune.
I hear you. Hey, look, man,
that's where I make my money.
Did you hear about my crazy deal that I had? I don't want to get too far off the subject here, but did you hear about my crazy deal that I had last September? I had some government work basically. And I took this job. A subcontractor referred me to this other subcontractor that was working for the DoD up in Norfolk, Virginia, at the naval base. And so it's a contractor that's basically relocating some offices, and they're tearing down an old office building. And it was pretty. I can't go into too much detail, but basically, I was the one who was going to be the systems administrator, is going to migrate 130,000 email accounts from one building to another once they got the server set up in the new building. And the buildings are literally 150 yards apart. But the old hardware was so old, they just wanted new servers anyways. It was smart, Well, I was working for this other contractor that bid on the whole job. And so I'm actually not working for the DoD. I'm working for the subcontractor. I'm working as a subcontractor for the primary contractor, and did my part, and everything was supposed to get paid. The contracting company that I was working for basically had a whole reorganization. The two partners split up, and basically, for all practical purposes, they were going to file, bankruptcy and dissolve the business. And their contract was not over yet with the DoD, so I had no grounds for any type of lien or anything like that or whatever, against the for the money, because my contract wasn't with them. So basically I wasn't getting paid. They couldn't get paid because they never completed the entire project to get their draw in there. So it was all up in the air forever. I'm never going to work another job like that.
Me as a software engineer, I work for a company, but that's all they do is just government contracts. And I'm basically, for the next year, I'm on a project, and I just work from home.
Right, and that's what I was doing. It was, I was just sitting there. Once we scripted the migration script and everything, once I got all that done, it took about, I don't know, spent about $600 to had a guy helping me with it. And once we had it tested and everything, I basically just sat there and hit the enter button, looking at the logs, and then hit enter button, and we moved 100 counts at a time. And I just sat there for 6 days straight, hitting enter button. And just moving 100 accounts, and just watching to see if something happened. It went flawless. Yeah. Everything worked great. We had a problem with maybe 2,500 email accounts that were dormant. I had to archive those. The accounts became inactive. We archived everything that was in them, and then we deleted them off the servers, and then those all got packed away. And I had to write a spec sheet, on the exact procedure and the encryption mechanism and all that. So there was a lot of red tape and everything to go through, but I didn't get paid until we finally did a settlement, and I got paid from. There's a new company now that basically absorbed the old company that basically owed me the debt, and they could have wiped it out if they wanted to, but I guess they felt like they were going to do me right, and we settled for about a third of what they owed me, and I didn't think it was going to get a thing, So I'm not doing that mess anymore. Usually when it's too good to be true, it probably is. I was, it was like $27,000 for 3 weeks worth of work. So when it's too good, and guess what? I was on my bid, was half of the next lowest bid down out of 7 bids. My bid was half. You talking about government waste, man? You know what I mean? I was like, holy man, this is going to be, I'm cleaning up with this. You know what I mean? I can sit here and trade and watch John's service and hit enter on this other computer over here for 6 or 7 days and collect 27 grand, you know, and yeah, well, didn't work out. So anyways, and my lawyer's going to wind up with half of it, half of the half. So, yeah. But anyways, it still worked out. It worked out pretty good. But just be careful with that government work.
Yeah, I work with a pretty reputable company that they do have government contracts in. Yeah. I mean, I live right here in the Washington D.C. area,
right?
So I mean, that's all we got here that really makes decent money. So, I mean, I'm used to it.
Yeah, so just be careful with that. But you know what you're doing. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time. I really don't have any business working for any organization that has any organization, especially if it's an organization going to treat me like that. I mean, you know what I mean? If that's supposed to be high pay, good gig, then I don't want none of it because it drove me nuts, man. Just the stress of getting paid. You know, what am I going to do with the money when I finally get paid? Am I going to build more house? Am I going to invest it? Am I going to use it to trade with? What am I going to do with it? You know, and then it turns out to be, basically, $3,500. So, it's like, which is nice. I would have still taken the gig for that, in a heartbeat. But if I'd known, maybe not if I'd known what it was going to go through, and I could have wound up, losing 800 because that's about what I had in it. So, anyways, that's enough about me. But hey, Chris, it was great, man, having you on. I really appreciate your time.
I mean, I'll do another one. I mean, I've got more options stuff. I can go into more advanced stuff, and instead of just more of the basic stuff, I can get into real advanced stuff of how to play options with earnings. With people, I know people like to play earnings. There's a way to do it with options to play earnings, and you don't get slaughtered if you're wrong.
I think Cousin Vinny had touched on that a little bit in one of his spotlight shows too.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do another one a little bit more advanced options trading.
I tell you what, man, honestly, and I might, I play a trader on TV, but in reality, I'm just an amateur. I've only been doing it for a few years. This whole option stuff, I mean, I can figure out the stocks. I might be able to figure out the ES where I can make more money than I lose. But this whole options thing, man, I'm serious, man. It makes about as much sense to me as NC Dave's fibs.
Well, it's confusing. It really is. But the bad thing about it is that all these market makers and all these real professionals in the market and everything have just made it that options, you can only do it if you're one of us, like a market maker or something. You can only make money, and that's a bunch of BS. I mean, I had to pay good money to pick the brain of a 20-year veteran to learn how to truly trade options. And after a year of picking his brain and learning all the stuff I've learned and spend money on it, I just gotten good at it. Yeah, and you're a smart guy. So can you imagine somebody who really just, like myself, who is just, has no chance, I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really, I mean, seriously, for everybody out there, let me just say this too. We got a lot of new people in the chat room. We got a lot of new members, and we appreciate those new members. And they ask this question all the time: can I make money trading the market? Okay. And how come only 1 to 2% of all people who call themselves day traders actually make a living or make money and become profitable and successful at it? Listen, all I can say is this: the only reason why I'm willing to attempt it and have attempted it, okay, is because I don't know any better. My odds have been so low my entire life. I mean, I've never had a real job. I had a job working in a warehouse up until I was the age of 18, and after that, I was basically self-employed bum. Okay, I have failed at several businesses. I say failed. Failed is only when you quit trying. Okay, you don't fail if you never give up. By the way, so you don't have to fail if you never give up. Yeah, that's true.
Again, anything that you try. Okay, now there becomes a smart time for you to give up. Okay. But you never.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah, but listen, all I can say is that when I started my hosting business in '97, Okay, there was like 9,200 registered web hosting companies in the United States, and most of them, could sneeze and blow enough clients off bigger than what I am now after 10 years. Okay, and that was back then. If I had talked myself out of it because there's so much competition or so many people already doing it, I would not have a successful web hosting business. I probably would have never met Day Trading Radio, and never would be a Day Trading Radio, server guy. Certainly. And I wouldn't have had spare time 2.5 years ago to consider trading, so I wouldn't have been looking for a trading site like Day Trading Radio. So I'm telling you, if I thought I had a 3% chance back then, I thought I had a 0.5% chance back then of making money in the web hosting business. Okay, and I've supported my entire family. My wife doesn't have a job. My wife has never had a job. Okay. And we've been married almost 20 years, and we got 2 kids. And I'm not saying I'm rich or anything. I'm rich because I'm happy, but I'm not rich when it comes to money.
Hey, roof over your table, food on the table, happy family.
Exactly.
That's all it takes.
Exactly. And I enjoy what I'm doing. Okay, and I've done good at it. And that taught me that, listen, you can do, even a dumb redneck like you, RPM, can pretty much do anything you decide to do if you stick with it. I think a 3 to 4% chance of being a successful trader is an awesome. And that is not a bad odds, because we got to take the money from somebody who's losing it. So you
got to fall down. I mean, to be a successful trader, you have got to fall down and to be willing to pick yourself back up.
Yeah,
jump back in.
Do you think your odds are any better going out there than trying to get a job when you got another 1,000 people applying for the same job? What do you think your chances of getting that job? I mean, and let's say you get the job. Well, let's say you already had the job, but you just got handed the pink slip, and you yanked the rug out from under you in the last 3 years because everybody's firing everybody. What do you really want to do that, or do you want to learn how to do something? And you have the power to do it. If you learn how to trade and figure out a system that works for you, whether it's a combination of what John teaches and what other people teach or whatever, and you come up with your own system and you stick to it and you hone it and you get good at it to where you can make a living, nobody can take that from you. They cannot fire you from it. And you have to. People go out and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to become a doctor. And then they don't even know if they're going to like it. You know what I mean? Well, why can't you spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, lose it in the market, get your butt kicked? Why can't you just chalk that up as cost of the education? If you quit, okay, it would be like going to medical school for 12 years or whatever it takes, spending $200,000 to do it, and then quitting before you graduate and say, I don't want to do that, and just go get in the bed and go to sleep. That's basically, if you quit day trading before your education is complete, and your education continues always, okay? But if you quit, you have failed because you failed yourself. It is something that you can learn how to do if you have discipline and you have the right resources and tools around you. You can figure out a way to do it. It's not, but it is one of the hardest things you'll ever do.
I think it's all psychological.
It is.
I mean, it really. I mean, the stuff that I've learned from John and the stuff that I've taken from John Person, and I have combined the two and and have made my own trading plan. And I follow that trading plan. I've noticed if I follow that trading plan, I make money. If I deviate from it, that's when I lose money.
Right. If you get talked out of it or whatever, or exactly. It's
it's all psychological. And that custom indicator I wrote, guess what? It works for me.
It might not work for somebody else.
It might not work for someone else. Yeah. It's not the Holy Grail that says buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here.
Yeah. Frankenstein's calling me Tony Robbins. Yeah, thanks, I guess. Isn't that dude with like real chiseled face that gets up there and just does that, that constant 24/7 rant? I'm sorry. If I wanted to go see him talk, I'd have to bring a baseball bat with me. See, I'm not like that at all. But because what I'm saying, I actually believe. I don't know if that guy really does or not. He just gets paid to ramp stuff up.
Day trading, I mean, I think the only reason I have I trade with a prop firm and I give them money and everything is because I'm able to satisfy my desire of, okay, I need to day trade. I need to do something. Because to be honest with you, options trading is not for the type of person that likes fast action and wants it now. It's a slow and relaxing way to trade.
Yeah.
But if you're a type of person that needs feedback and loves that thrill, it's not for you.
So many people are just having a really hard time right now because they've lost their job. They might have a 401k or whatever, or they got some cash, or they took a severance package or whatever, and they've lost their job, and they're panicking. They need $8,000 a month to pay the light bill and keep the car payment and keep and the house payment and all that or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they're freaking out. I mean, I'd feel for them, but at the same time, I never, I've been struggling, my entire, pretty much my entire adult life with my own business. It's just what if you got to work 100 hours a week, you work 100 hours a week. If you got to work 130 hours a week, you work 130 hours a week. You do what you got to do to make it work, and just be thankful that you have work to do. And so it's not a big deal to me for somebody to tell me, listen, you got to do, 20 hours of the research, before you go getting into a stock, or, you need to watch all of John's videos. And then when you get done, watch them again, or, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't done that. Well, maybe once, I haven't watched them again or whatever, because I got so involved in helping out with the site. But
I watch them.
I do too. I watch
them all the time.
But
even the old ones.
What I'm saying is, it's going to give you back what you're willing to put into it. You can. And there's no. What do you say? There's no free ride or free ticket or whatever. But it's one of the most rewarding things that you can ever do for yourself if you figure out how to do it. And it's like. I mean, the cool thing about it is all you really need is an internet connection and a computer, and you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to answer to, I've got a great hosting business and I love it and I don't want to knock it, but I don't have, I have to answer to people. When you're a trader, okay, and a good one, or at least a successful one, you don't answer to nobody, but maybe your wife.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you find a happy broker and you got a nice size account, you pretty much answer to the IRS and your wife, and that's it. You don't have to, you can put it aside. You can go take yourself a little vacation, a break, go stick your head in the toilet, whatever you got to do. It's there for you, and you don't have to worry about getting fired from it. It's like a dream job.
Because if you get fired from the market, that just means it ain't around no more.
Right, or you lost all your money. Then you just got to put some more back in it and keep going. That's your that's your first and second semester right there.
Yeah, well, actually, my first account, like I said, I blew it up.
Oh, I blew
up everything. I was like, I had to call my bank and say, I'm going to be late on a car payment.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because
I was a dumbass and lost my money in the market.
Yeah. Well, I had a life savings of $4,317. Okay. When it got down to $350, I said, I'm doing something wrong. So I added to it, another $1,000, another $1,000, and everything, and that lasted another month and a half. I can only imagine those starting with 150, 200 grand and then blowing that all down to zero.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I went to eating ramen noodles and stuff. I was like, now I got to save money. But the one thing that I learned, I'm like, okay, I lost money. If I would have done the opposite, I probably would have made money. So whatever I did, just don't do that again.
Yeah, here's Mr. IBM2 has sent me a private message. I don't know why he didn't say this in the chat room, because it was very smart. He says it's like working on a car. Trading's like working on a car. He says you make sure you have all the right tools. All the parts. Oh, yeah. You need it all. And it's nice to have a support mechanism like Day Trading Radio when things go wrong or you're not sure what direction to go. And
well, yeah, I blew up my account. After I blew up my account, when I came on board with Day Trading Radio when I was down in Florida before I came back to DC, I mean, once I started listening to John, I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started trading with him, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm actually making money. money.
Yeah, the guy's a master. I mean, even if you never traded any of the stocks that he trades, and you only follow his education, which works for any stock, his patterns, his multiple indicators, setups, high probability stuff, and you listen to his methodology, and you follow his methodology, his education, it's got to be. There's people out there that have been trading for years and years and years that can benefit from his education. He's truly a master.
Oh yeah.
And what he gives to everybody who's fortunate enough to find the site and become listeners, long-time listeners and everything. If you can absorb what he's teaching you, people have no clue how valuable that information is. There's so many traders out there that are make $100,000 in one day and lose $150 the very next day, and they're playing with lots of money, and they're getting beat up like a piece of meat that got run over by a tractor trailer. And it just because it's a big piece of meat doesn't mean that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They're considered professional traders, and they find John, and they're like, "Wow, where have you been all my life?" And you can get all this pretty much for free by just watching his free videos. But if you do decide to support the site, it's $30 a month. It's like the profit you make off of one
it's
trade.
Less than that for me because I was one of the first beginners.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm like, man,
you got a real good price.
30.
You got a real good price. So, I just hope I don't never get kicked out because then I got to come back and then I'll be paying $30. But
oh man, I changed my credit card, and then all of a sudden I tried to log in. I couldn't log in. I had to contact them, and that's when I found out it was $30. I'm like,
no, it don't work that way. No, please put me back on the old price, right?
Please put me. I begged, and they were like, "All right, here, follow this link, and you'll be paying the old price that you were paying."
Yeah, that's great, man. I
had to put in my new card information and everything. I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah. So you're paying to be here, so you can give back, potentially thousands and thousands of dollars worth of information to us on the Trader Spotlight Show. And that's what people don't understand. People pay to be members so they can give back. And it's because people believe in it. And if we don't keep it going and we don't fund it so it can continue and continue to get better and improve, okay, it will go away. And if it goes away, it's horrible. It would be the most horrible thing. If nothing else, I need it. So y'all.
I know I'm going to probably get contacted if I have enough people that go there and start listening to education and I start teaching them for free. I'm sure I'll probably get contacted by people that'd be like, "What are you doing? This information we have charged like $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 for seminars, and you're giving this shit out for free?" Yeah,
it's just the way. And a lot of people think because something's for free, it has no value to it. You know what I mean? So it's or some people think, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get one of those $200 a month courses and stay on it for a while. This day trading radio looks good, but it ain't but $30. What can I really get for $30 a month? Well, it's time to stick with it. You know what I mean? It's not a get rich quick scheme. You got to stick with it, and if you stick with it, that's really how this is going to sink in.
There are guys out there that says, "Oh, we trade options and we do verticals and counters and this and that, or calls and they're charging like $100 a month." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
There's courses out there that are $10,000.
Why don't you make your money trading and not ripping people off?
Yeah, there's courses out there that are $10,000, and there's been people that have paid close to that to have these courses, and then they come and they find Day Trading Radio and they're a member for 2-3 months, and they will give us testimonials that say, "I just spent $5,000 for this or $7,000 for that, and I could have learned all this off of Day Trader Rockstars and more off of Day Trader Rockstars free YouTube videos." So. And more, and obviously more. Not to mention, you got the input from all the other traders and stuff, like yourself. Yeah. So, let's wrap this up, man. My wife's looking at. I'm in the bedroom. My computer's in the bedroom. I got to finish my office this weekend.
Hey, if you hey, give me a call if you want me to do a market munchie or something.
Oh man, that would be cool. Do some live stuff. Yeah, man.
We can try to maybe do some ES stuff, and then I can show, hey, this is my indicator, this is how I use it, and we can try to make couple live trades.
Yeah, that would be really cool, man. And you're obviously not being selfish with your information at all, and we all appreciate it very much, man. We really do. You've been a great interview, Chris.
All right, hey, take it easy.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, so I am beat. I've been standing up talking, and I didn't go to bed till 5 o'clock this morning. Got up at 7:30. But man, see these things like this, these great trader spotlights, and they keep me going because I love doing it. I hate to say it, I love doing the spotlight more than I like doing the tech show. And the tech show is kind of my thing, and it's because I really learn a lot. I learn a lot from myself. And I'll probably never trade an option in my entire life, but it's just cool watching somebody show you how to do it. And the fact that he trades on a Linux machine, it's just kind of cool because not a lot of people are trading from Linux box. I didn't even know Thinkorswim would run on it. And then the fact that he's doing the Think script. He's custom indicators that work for him. So I mean, it's just great, man. You never know what you're gonna get on a spotlight, right? So yeah, and his name is Chris, not Christ. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. And again, if you're not a Day Trading Radio Premium member, consider it. You never know when that price might go up to $500 a month, right? And there's people, I guarantee there's members that we have that would pay it if it was that. Knowing what they know now, they would pay that if they had to. And it's not going to go to $500 a month. But, just seriously, consider a DayTradingRadio.com premium membership. You get a 2-week free trial. Come in, say hello in the chat room. There's plenty of people in there right now that are in there hollering at me. I see my little icon going up the screen, saying good things. They love being here. Here they are at past midnight on Thursday night, getting ready to hit the holiday weekend, and they're in here watching the Trader Spotlight. So we appreciate all you guys, all your memberships. Appreciate your support, your friendships, and all that. And I'm going to call it a night, and we'll see you guys in the market. Oh, let me say this too. If you think you would be good on a Trader Spotlight show, let us know, because I'm always looking for somebody. Always looking for somebody to contribute. And it does not matter what level you're at. If you're just like, hey, look, I'm worst trader in the world. I want to tell you guys all about my worst trades, how much money I lost. I want you guys to tell me what I did wrong, right? So, I mean, that's a spotlight show too, because we can learn just as much from bad trades as we learn from good ones, So, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're a member. By the way, we're going to have a lot of people want, more females in the market. There's a lot of female traders out there, and they say the female traders are better than us men, So, and I mean, it'd be easy for a female trader to be better than me, but, they say the females make great traders. Women are really good traders. So, speaking of which, we've got Just for Girls. You guys most of you guys know Lucy. Just for Girls, if you were at the Traders Expo in New York, you would have met her. Really attractive lady, really sweet, really nice. I got to know her a little bit in private messages and stuff, talking to her prior to the show, and then I met her at the show and everything. Really cool. Anyways, she's going to be on next week. So we're going to have Just for Girls on, and she's got a friend, so they're going to do it together. They're going to do it on camera. So just some eye candy for you guys, all right? So, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we're going to do a Trader Spotlight. So that'll be next week. That'll be next Thursday, if we're all here. If the world doesn't come to an end and we haven't found the reset button yet. So it'll be Just for Girls next week. So I got that one booked. But I am looking for somebody for Market Munchies for Tuesday. If not, we'll do the regulars. And don't miss that. That's a lunch on Tuesdays. We let John take a break and get some lunch. He puts an awful lot of hours in behind the mic, and it's not easy. So with that, everybody, I'm RPM, and we'll see you in the markets tomorrow and catch you on the other side in the chat room just a little bit. And yes, this was recorded. So we'll see you guys. Thanks a lot. RPM out.